Have you ever felt it? That quiet, persistent sense that there is an unseen current flowing just beneath the surface of your everyday life. A whisper of a hidden order in the midst of chaos. A feeling that your deepest thoughts, your most intense emotions, have a strange gravity to them. A palpable presence that seems to bleed out from your mind and into the very fabric of the world around you. Many of us spend our lives trying to change our reality by wrestling with the shadows on the wall. We change jobs. We move to new cities. We seek out different relationships, believing that a change in circumstance will finally bring us the peace or success we crave. Yet, so often, we find ourselves caught in the same recurring loops, facing the same kinds of frustrations, the same feelings of lack, just with new names and new faces. The fundamental error is not in our effort, but in our direction. We have been taught to look outward for change, when the entire time, the control panel for our reality has been located within. The universe does not speak in our native tongue. It does not respond to our pleas or our demands. It communicates in a much more fundamental language, the language of frequency, of vibration, your energy. The sum total of your dominant thoughts and feelings is your signature, the unending message you broadcast into the quantum field every second of every day, and the universe, with flawless, impersonal precision, simply matches that frequency, reflecting back to you the experiences, people, and circumstances that are in perfect harmonic resonance with what you are being. In this journey together, we will explore this foundational law, and our guides will be the distilled wisdom of the ages, delivered to us through the unique and powerful medium of the audiobook. These are the mentors that can whisper cosmic secrets directly into your ear while you drive, while you work, while you walk through the world, allowing these profound truths to seep past the conscious mind and saturate your very being. We will learn how to become the conscious architects of our own lives, not by struggling harder, but by vibrating higher, transforming our reality from the inside out. To truly begin this journey, we must first go deeper than the surface of things. We must look past the convincing illusion of solidity and separation that our senses report to us every day. We must start with the very fabric of existence itself. What is the world made of? Truly, what are you made of? For centuries, we have lived under the spell of a material world, a world of solid objects, of distinct boundaries, where you end, and the chair you are sitting on begins, where the air in your lungs is separate from the tree that produced it. But this perception, as real as it feels, is a beautiful and intricate illusion, a simplification created by our limited biological senses so that we can navigate this plane of existence. Modern science, in its relentless quest to find the smallest, most fundamental building block of matter, has ironically arrived at the same conclusion that ancient mystics and spiritual traditions have known for millennia, a conclusion that shatters the illusion of solidity. When physicists peered deep inside the atom, expecting to find a tiny, solid core, they found something astonishing. They found almost nothing at all. An atom is over 99% empty space, and the tiny specks of matter they did find, the electrons, protons, and neutrons, were not solid little balls either. When observed even more closely, they behaved less like things and more like flickering probabilities, vibrating packets of information. Or to use the simplest, most all-encompassing word, energy, everything. From the granite of a mountain to the light from a distant star. From the water in the ocean to the silent thought you are having right now, is made of the exact same fundamental substance. Energy. This is the great meeting point. The handshake across centuries between the quantum physicist in a sterile lab and the meditating monk on a remote mountaintop. The ancient Vedas of Hinduism speak of prana, the universal life force energy that animates all of creation, Traditional Chinese medicine is built entirely on the concept of qi, the vital energy that flows through the body and the cosmos. The mystics of every tradition have described this unseen sea of energy in which we live and move and have our being. And now, science confirms it. The world is not a collection of separate, solid objects. It is a single, unified, unimaginably vast ocean of vibrating energy. And you are not a drop in that ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. This energy is not static. It is not dormant. Its very nature is to be in constant motion, to vibrate. The only difference between the chair you're sitting on and the air you're breathing is the speed of this vibration. Its frequency. Think of water, in its dense state, vibrating slowly. It is solid ice. Add energy. Increase its frequency, and it becomes flowing. Liquid water. Add even more energy. Raise its vibration higher still, and it becomes invisible steam. 3 different expressions. One single essence. The same principle applies to everything in the universe. Objects we perceive as solid, like a rock or a table, are simply energy vibrating at a very low and dense frequency. So slow that our senses interpret it as solid. Living things, like plants and animals, vibrate at a higher frequency. And at the very highest frequencies, we find the most ethereal and powerful forms of energy. A thought, an emotion, a belief, love, for instance, is not just a poetic concept. It is a measurable state of high-frequency energy. Fear is a state of low-frequency energy. This is not metaphor. This is physics. So, where do you fit into this symphony of vibration? You are not just a physical body, a collection of bones and tissue that happens to contain a bit of this energy. You are, in your essence, a complex, dynamic, and incredibly powerful field of energy, which has manifested a physical body as a vehicle for experience. You are a broadcasting station. Every moment, the sum total of your internal state, your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, your deep-seated subconscious programs, generates a measurable electromagnetic field that extends far beyond your skin. This is your energetic signature. This is you. As Dr. Joe Dispenza explains so brilliantly in his audiobook, Becoming Supernatural, this personal energy field is in constant communication with the larger quantum field, the infinite field of energy and information that contains every single possibility. Think of the quantum field as a dark room containing every possible photograph of your life, every potential reality. Your energetic signature is like a flashlight. The specific frequency you are broadcasting illuminates one specific photograph, selecting it from the infinite darkness of potential and collapsing it into your experienced reality. This is why understanding that you are energy is the most crucial first step in reclaiming your power to create your life. As long as you identify primarily with your physical body, you see yourself as small, separate, and at the mercy of a vast, indifferent world. You are a victim of circumstance, a ship tossed on the waves of an external reality. The moment you shift your identity, the moment you truly grasp in your cells that you are a flowing, dynamic field of conscious energy, everything changes. You are no longer the ship. You are the ocean. You are no longer a victim of the game. You are the creative force that influences the game itself. You move from a passive recipient of reality to an active participant in its creation. This isn't just a feel-good idea. It is the fundamental mechanics of the cosmos. Your work is not to manipulate the external world, to push and pull and struggle against what is. Your work is to manage your own energy, because your energy is the one and only cause. Your life, your reality, is the effect. So, if we are this living, breathing field of conscious energy, This constant broadcast of vibrational information. How does this invisible, ethereal substance weave itself into the tangible, sensory world we call reality? How does the fabric become the form? If the universe is a formless, vibrating sea of energy, then what is this world that you see, hear, and touch? What is this solid, predictable, and often stubborn thing we call reality? The truth is, your experience of reality is a masterpiece of neurological artistry. A grand illusion constructed so perfectly that you mistake the painting for the landscape itself. Your senses are not clear windows to the world. They are incredibly limited receivers. Your eyes can only perceive a tiny sliver of the electromagnetic spectrum. A sliver we call visible light. You cannot see the radio waves carrying this very message. The infrared radiation coming off a warm stove, or the ultraviolet light that can burn your skin. Your ears can only detect a narrow range of sound frequencies, deaf to the ultrasonic calls of a bat or the low-frequency rumbles felt by an elephant. We are floating in an infinite ocean of information. Yet our biological toolkit allows us to perceive only a single, curated drop, and what happens to that drop of information is where the magic and the illusion truly begins. The signals that your senses pick up, the photons hitting your retina, the pressure waves vibrating your eardrum, are just raw data. They are meaningless vibrations. It is your brain that acts as a phenomenal supercomputer, a reality rendering engine. It takes these raw, vibrational signals and instantly processes them, cross-referencing them with a lifetime of memories, beliefs, and expectations. And then it constructs a coherent, three-dimensional, multi-sensory experience that you perceive as the world. You do not see a tree. You experience your brain's interpretation of a particular set of light frequencies reflected off an object. You do not hear a beautiful piece of music. You experience your brain's emotional and neurological response to a complex pattern of sound waves. The key understanding here is profound and world-altering. You never, ever experience the world directly. You only and always experience your brain's model of the world. And this is why reality is, at its core, deeply and radically subjective. This is not just philosophical speculation. You see it play out every single day. Imagine two people walking into the same room for a job interview. The room is the same. The desk is the same. The interviewer is the same. The objective reality is constant. But the first person, filled with an energy of self-worth and confidence, walks in and perceives an opportunity. They see the interviewer as a potential collaborator, the questions as a chance to shine, the room as a stage for their success. Their high-frequency energy filters their perception, and they experience a reality of potential and promise. The second person, vibrating with an energy of fear and self-doubt, walks into that very same room and perceives a threat. They see the interviewer as a judge, the questions as traps, the room as an interrogation chamber. Their low-frequency energy creates an entirely different reality, one of scarcity and judgment. The event was one, but the realities experienced were two. Which one was real? Both. Reality, for each individual, was a perfect mirror of their internal energetic state. Your beliefs and your energy do not just color your experience. They are the very lens through which you are able to experience anything at all. You are physically incapable of perceiving a reality that does not match your vibration. An opportunity for abundance could be staring a person with a scarcity mindset in the face, and they would literally not be able to see it. It would be invisible to them. Existing on a frequency their receiver is not tuned to pick up. This seemingly mystical idea is echoed in the strangest corners of modern science. In the realm of quantum physics, there is a phenomenon so bizarre it has baffled the greatest minds for a century: the observer effect. In the famous double-slit experiment, when scientists shoot tiny particles like electrons at a screen with two slits, The particles behave in a very strange way when no one is looking, or when there is no measuring device to detect which slit they go through. The electrons act like waves of pure potential. They seem to go through both slits at the same time, creating an interference pattern on the other side. They exist in a state of all possibilities simultaneously. But here is the mind-bending part. The very moment a detector is placed to observe which slit the electron goes through, its behavior changes. The act of observation forces the wave of infinite potential to collapse into a single, definite particle that goes through only one slit. The wave pattern disappears. Think about what this implies. The very act of looking at reality changes reality. Your attention, your consciousness, is the force that collapses the infinite wave of what could be into the concrete experience of what is. You are not a passive bystander watching a movie that is already filmed. You are the director, the camera operator, and the audience. And your act of looking is what makes the movie real, frame by single frame. This is the principle that the great 20th century mystic, Neville Goddard, taught with such profound clarity, and which you can explore in the many audiobooks of his lectures. He gave us one of the most powerful and challenging concepts for understanding reality. Everyone is you pushed out. This does not mean other people are mindless puppets. It means that the version of them you experience, the role they play in the drama of your life, is a direct reflection of your own state of consciousness, your own assumptions about them and yourself. If you hold an assumption of betrayal, you will energize that potential within the people around you. And they will, often unconsciously, play out that role for you, validating your belief. If you change your inner state and truly embody the feeling of being loved and supported, the people in your life will either have to shift their behavior to match your new energy, or they will gracefully drift out of your reality, making way for others who can play the part your new script demands. The world is a mirror. It has no choice but to reflect back the face you are making. Try to yell at your reflection to smile. It cannot. It can only smile when you do. So, the first great act of power is to stop fighting the reflection in the mirror. It is to shatter the illusion of a fixed, solid, external reality. It is to accept that the world you experience is malleable. It is plastic. It is clay. When you truly grasp this, a profound shift occurs. You cease to be a victim, and you become a creator. You realize that to change your world, you don't need to change anyone or anything outside of yourself. You only need to change the source of the projection. You need to change the energy, the feeling, the assumption within. If reality is a projection from within, if our very consciousness is the force that turns potential into experience, then we must ask the next, most vital question. What is the engine that generates the specific energy that creates our particular projection? What is the unseen projector that casts the image of our life onto the screen of space and time? The answer begins with the silent, ceaseless hum of activity inside our own minds. In the grand, invisible symphony of our thoughts, in the control room of your consciousness, there is a silent, ceaseless hum of activity. It is the realm of your thoughts. We tend to treat our thoughts as private, weightless, and inconsequential things, like clouds drifting harmlessly through the sky of our mind. We believe a secret worry, a flash of anger, a fleeting daydream, lives and dies within the confines of our own skull. But in an energetic universe, there is no such thing as an inside and an outside. There is no lead-lined vault that can contain the energy of a thought. Every single thought, from the most mundane to the most profound, is an energetic event. It is a distinct pulse of energy, a measurable electrical charge that fires across the neurons in your brain and sends a ripple out into the quantum field. Think of the universe as a perfectly still pond, and each of your thoughts is a pebble dropped into it. A small, passing thought creates a tiny, fine ripple, but a persistent thought, one that you return to again and again, is like dropping a heavy stone in the very same spot, over and over, sending out powerful, concentric waves of influence that travel farther and wider than you can possibly imagine. There are no neutral thoughts. Every thought you have vibrates at a specific frequency. A thought of judgment or criticism carries a dense, chaotic, low-frequency charge. A thought of genuine appreciation or love carries a light, coherent, high-frequency charge. These are not metaphors. These are physical properties. When you are consumed by worry, you are not just in a negative mental state. You are actively generating and broadcasting a field of chaotic energy. Your body chemistry changes. Your heart rate becomes incoherent. And the signal you send out to the universe is one of disharmony and fear. Conversely, when you hold a thought of serene peace or heartfelt gratitude, you are generating a powerful, coherent energy field. Your body relaxes. Your heart rhythm becomes smooth and orderly. And the signal you transmit is one of wellness and alignment. The universe, which operates on the infallible law of resonance, does not judge your thoughts as good or bad. It simply reads the frequency of the wave you are sending and, like a cosmic echo, reflects back to you experiences that match that frequency. You cannot broadcast a signal of lack and expect to tune into the reality of abundance. The physics of it simply does not work. Where you place your focus acts as a powerful amplifier for this mental energy. Your awareness, your conscious attention, is like a celestial magnifying glass. Whatever you hold beneath it becomes intensified. The ambient, formless energy of the quantum field is gathered and concentrated onto the object of your sustained thought. This is why worrying is so perversely effective at creating what you don't want. Worry is not just a passing negative thought. It is the act of taking a negative possibility and consciously, repeatedly focusing on it, pouring your creative energy into it, rehearsing it, feeling it, and essentially, praying for its arrival. It is a powerful form of creative visualization directed at a negative outcome. By the same token, holding a clear, unwavering vision of what you desire is the highest use of your creative power. When you hold a goal in your mind, not with desperate longing, but with calm, focused certainty, you are using that same universal magnifying glass to draw energy and resources towards its materialization. Your focus is the currency of creation. Where you spend it determines the reality you purchase. The most effective way to understand this is to see your mind as a powerful radio broadcasting station. It is broadcasting a signal 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even when you are asleep. The specific frequency of your broadcast is determined by the sum total of your dominant mental habits, your habitual thoughts and moods. Are you tuned to radio station W-O-E, broadcasting a steady stream of worry, obligation, and emergency? Or are you tuned to radio station P-E-A-C-E, broadcasting on the frequency of prosperity, ease, and creative expression? The law of attraction is simply the universal tuner. It scans the cosmic airwaves and connects your receiver, your life experience, to the station you are broadcasting from. It cannot give you a classical music experience if your dial is firmly set to static and noise. This is of vital importance. The universe isn't deciding what to give you. It is only giving you a perfect match to the signal you are sending. If your life feels stuck, if you keep experiencing the same problems, it is not because you are unlucky. It is because you have been unconsciously broadcasting on the same, unchanged frequency, day after day. This is where the wisdom from classic audiobooks like The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy becomes an invaluable tool. Murphy explained that the mind has two primary levels, the conscious and the subconscious. Your conscious mind is the captain on the bridge. It's the part that thinks, reasons, and chooses. But the subconscious mind is the engine room crew. It takes the orders from the captain without question and works tirelessly to carry them out. It is also the part that controls your heartbeat, your breathing, and all the automatic programs of your life. When you have a thought repeatedly, especially one charged with feeling, it sinks down from the conscious mind and becomes implanted in the subconscious. It becomes a belief, a program, and once it's a program, it runs automatically. It becomes the default frequency of your radio station, broadcasting constantly in the background, shaping your perceptions, guiding your actions, and attracting resonant experiences without any conscious effort. This is why just trying to think positive for a few minutes a day often fails. It's like trying to shout over the continuous, powerful hum of the engine room. To truly change your life, you must go deeper. You must change the programs. You must give new orders to the subconscious crew. And in this lies your ultimate freedom. If your mind is a radio station, then you are the DJ. You have the power to choose the music. This does not mean you will never have a negative thought again. That is an unrealistic goal. Thoughts arise, unbidden, like weather patterns. But you don't have to let every cloud turn into a thunderstorm. You have the choice of which thoughts to engage with. You can notice a thought of fear or doubt, and simply say, "Thank you for sharing," and consciously turn your focus to a thought of gratitude. You can choose to put yourself on a mental diet, refusing to entertain gossip, criticism, and fearful news, and instead choosing to consume inspiring books, uplifting music, and conversations that expand your sense of possibility. This is not about suppression. It is about conscious selection. It is the sacred work of tending the garden of your mind, pulling the weeds of fear and deliberately planting the seeds of joy. For every thought you choose to focus on is a command you are giving to the universe. It is a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. But a thought, as powerful as it is like a spark. To start a true creative fire, that spark needs fuel. A thought is the blueprint, but it is not the builder. The true, raw power that charges our thoughts, that gives them the force to command matter and bend reality, comes from a deeper, more primal source within us. It comes from the language the universe truly understands, the raw, undeniable power of our emotions. If a thought is the spark, then emotion is the gasoline. If a thought is the architectural blueprint for a reality you wish to build, then emotion is the raw power, the workforce, and the machinery that turns that blueprint into a physical structure. We have been taught to distrust our emotions, to see them as weaknesses, as irrational impulses to be controlled or suppressed. But this is a profound misunderstanding of their purpose and their power. Your emotions are not your enemy. They are the very language of your soul, the sacred, vibrational feedback that communicates directly with the intelligent energy of the universe. The word itself reveals its secret: emotion, energy in motion. It is the experience of your body responding to the energy of a thought. And in doing so, it amplifies that thought's signal 1,000-fold, giving it the creative force to mold the stuff of the universe. This process is not mystical. It is biological. When you have a thought, your brain instantly produces corresponding chemicals, tiny protein messengers called neuropeptides. These chemicals are then released into your bloodstream, traveling to every one of the trillions of cells in your body. Each cell has receptor sites, like tiny docks, perfectly shaped to receive these specific chemical messengers. When you think thoughts of gratitude, your brain produces one set of chemicals. They dock with your cells, and your body experiences the feeling we call gratitude. When you think thoughts of resentment, a different set of chemicals is produced. They dock with your cells, and your body experiences the feeling we call resentment. This creates an incredibly powerful feedback loop. Your thoughts create chemical feelings in your body, and the state of feeling in your body then tends to generate more thoughts that match that feeling. A single worried thought can trigger a feeling of anxiety, and that feeling of anxiety can then spawn an entire storm of more worried thoughts. This is how moods are created. A mood is simply a thought and feeling loop that you have allowed to run on repeat for a period of time. And this unified, looping signal of mind and body broadcasting in perfect, resonant harmony is what creates the powerful, unwavering, energetic signature that dictates your reality. Just as thoughts have a frequency, so do emotions, but their amplitude, their power, is far greater. You can visualize this as a vibrational ladder. At the very bottom rungs, we find the densest, heaviest, and lowest frequency emotions. Shame, guilt, apathy, grief, and fear. They feel heavy because they literally are. They are slow, chaotic vibrations that create drag and resistance in your energy field. As you begin to climb the ladder, the frequency increases. You move up through anger, which, while negative, actually has more energy than apathy. You move up further into courage, contentment, and optimism. And at the very top of the ladder, you find the highest, fastest, most coherent frequencies of all. Love, joy, bliss, appreciation, and gratitude. These emotions feel light because they are light. They are a state of pure, frictionless, creative energy. The key to mastering your energy is to become a conscious climber of this ladder. It doesn't mean you must be at the top all the time, but it does mean that when you find yourself on a low rung, you learn not to build a home there. You acknowledge the feeling without judgment, and then you deliberately reach for the thought that will help you climb just one rung higher. From despair to anger is an improvement. From anger to frustration is an improvement. From frustration to hope is a major leap. It is a gentle, compassionate process of raising your emotional baseline over time. Here we arrive at the absolute heart of conscious creation. The universe does not respond to your words. It does not respond to your wishes. It does not respond to your desperate pleas of wanting. The universe responds to the frequency of your feeling. To want something is to exist in the state of not having it. The feeling of wanting is a broadcast of lack. And so the universe, in its perfection, brings you more experiences of lacking. To create, you must do something that seems radical and counterintuitive. You must feel the feeling of your wish fulfilled before it has manifested. This is the secret of all masters. The golden rule of manifestation. You must generate the emotional signature of your future reality in the present moment. Do you desire wealth? You must find a way to feel abundant and secure right now. Not by denying your current circumstances, but by focusing on the abundance you already have. The richness of a sunset, the wealth of a deep breath, the security of a friendship. You must feel it first. Do you desire love? You must generate the feeling of being worthy, adored, and cherished now. Before a partner ever appears, you must fall in love with your own existence. Treat yourself with the reverence you desire from another. You are creating the energetic mold, the magnetic vortex, that will then draw the physical equivalent to you as surely as gravity pulls an apple to the ground. You are creating the cause, and the universe must, by law, provide the effect. This is precisely what the celebrated audiobook teachings of Abraham Hicks so brilliantly refer to as your emotional guidance system. They teach that your emotions are your own personal compass, constantly telling you your relationship with your own desire. Think of it this way: a part of you, your inner being or source, is always holding the pure, high vibration perspective of everything you desire, already fulfilled. It sees you as healthy, wealthy, and whole. When you think a thought that aligns with that perspective, you feel good. You feel joy, passion, ease. That good feeling is your guidance system saying yes. This way, you are now a vibrational match to your desire. But when you think a thought of doubt, worry, or unworthiness, you feel a negative emotion. That negative emotion, be it anxiety, frustration, or sadness, is not a punishment. It is simply the invaluable indicator that your current thought is out of alignment with what your inner being knows to be true. It is a vibrational rumble strip on the highway of life, gently telling you, you've drifted. Your thoughts are now vibrating in opposition to your desire. What a profound relief. Your negative emotions are not a sign that you are flawed. They are a sign that you are a powerful creator who has momentarily pointed your focus in the direction opposite to your dreams. Your only job, then, is to gently, lovingly, find a thought that feels even a little bit better, and then another, and another, until you have soothed yourself back into alignment. Your emotional state is not a passive weather pattern that happens to you. It is the climate you actively create. You are the conductor of this powerful, internal orchestra, and you can change the music at any time. Feeling low, put on a piece of music that makes your heart soar and allow the frequency of the sound to retune the frequency of your cells. Feeling stuck, get up and move your body. A change in physiology creates an instant change in psychology and emotion. Feeling a lack of appreciation, go on a rampage of appreciation. As Abraham Hicks suggests, start noticing and speaking aloud everything in your vicinity you can be grateful for. From the chair that is supporting you to the miracle of your own eyesight. In moments, you can feel the shift from the dense energy of lack to the high-flying energy of gratitude. When you align a clear thought, the blueprint, with a powerful, elevated emotion, the fuel, you create an unstoppable creative force. You are broadcasting a coherent, high-powered signal into the quantum field. And when that signal is sent with consistency and clarity, it activates one of the most talked about, and perhaps most misunderstood, laws of the universe. This is the point where thought and feeling crystallize into experience. Through the immutable principle that like attracts like, we now stand at the threshold of a great principle, a law so fundamental to the structure of our universe that it governs every interaction. From the cosmic dance of galaxies to the silent formation of a thought, it is a law that has been whispered about in secret societies, encoded in ancient texts, and recently brought into the global spotlight. It is, of course, the law of attraction. But to truly understand it, we must first strip away the layers of modern caricature. The idea that it is some kind of cosmic vending machine where you simply place an order for a new car and wait for it to appear. The law of attraction is not a magic trick. It is a law of physics. It is as real, as impartial, and as unfailingly consistent as the law of gravity. Gravity does not care if you are a saint or a sinner, if you are rich or poor, if you believe in it or not. If you step off a cliff, you will go down. In the same way, the law of attraction doesn't respond to your merit or your desires. It responds only to one thing: your vibration. The law itself is elegantly simple. Like attracts like. That which is like unto itself is drawn. To put it in the language we have been exploring, energies of a similar vibrational frequency are naturally drawn to one another. Think of tuning forks. If you have several tuning forks on a table and you strike one that is tuned to the note of C, any other C note tuning fork in the room will begin to hum, to vibrate in sympathetic resonance. It will not, however, affect the tuning fork tuned to the note of A or B flat. It can only call to itself that which shares its essential nature, its frequency. You, as a conscious being, are a highly complex and powerful human tuning fork. The energetic signature you broadcast, the combined frequency of your dominant thoughts and emotions, is constantly sending out a signal. This signal is activating, calling forth, and magnetizing people, conditions, ideas, and circumstances that are an exact vibrational match. It cannot do otherwise. It is the law. This brings us to one of the most vital distinctions you will ever learn. A realization that can change the entire trajectory of your life in an instant. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. Let that sink in. The universe does not operate on the English language. It does not hear your words of wanting. It feels the vibration of your being. You can spend all day saying, "I want more money. I want more money." But if the underlying feeling, the actual vibration you are emitting, is one of lack, of noticing the bills piling up, of feeling the tightness in your chest, when you look at your bank account, then the feeling you are broadcasting is not enough money, and the universe, in its infinite and impartial wisdom, hears your powerful, vibrational prayer of not enough money and dutifully responds by bringing you more experiences that match that feeling. More unexpected bills, more financial strain, more evidence of not enough. The feeling is the prayer. The vibration is the command. This is why affirmations can feel hollow and ineffective if they are not backed by genuine emotion. You cannot stand in a state of feeling poor and unworthy and successfully command wealth and adoration into your life. You must first find a way to become a vibrational match to the reality you desire. This law is not something you turn on and off. It is not a tool you decide to use only on Tuesdays. The law of attraction is working in your life right now, and it has been working every single moment of your existence. You cannot opt out of it any more than you can decide to opt out of the Earth's gravitational field for an afternoon. It is the fundamental organizing principle of the cosmos. The only choice you have is this. Will you be a conscious creator or an unconscious one? For most of our lives, we are unconscious creators. We vibrate by default. Our energy is a reaction to the outside world. The news makes us angry. A bill makes us scared. A comment from a coworker makes us feel insecure. We are like a leaf blown about in the wind. And we then look at our chaotic life and wonder how it got that way. A conscious creator understands that the outside world is the effect, not the cause. A conscious creator takes radical responsibility for their own vibration. They choose their thoughts. They cultivate their emotions. And they deliberately set their energetic frequency, knowing that the world must, by law, rearrange itself to match. The journey into this understanding has been paved by many great audiobooks for millions. The gateway was Rhonda Byrne's The Secret, which did a phenomenal job of introducing the core concepts of ask, believe, receive to the mainstream world. It was a powerful and necessary awakening. But to truly deepen our practice, we can travel further back to the source code of this wisdom. We can listen to the works of Wallace D. Wattles, particularly his 1910 masterpiece, The Science of Getting Rich. Wattles didn't present this as a hopeful philosophy, but as a precise and methodical science. He spoke of thinking and acting in a certain way. This certain way is the conscious alignment of your entire being with the reality you choose to create. It is the science of holding the thought of your desire as truth, regardless of all appearances to the contrary. It is the science of filling yourself with a deep and quiet gratitude for your desire before you can see it with your eyes. It is the science of taking inspired action from a place of faith and fullness, not from a place of fear and lack. It removes the hocus pocus and replaces it with a clear formula of energetic cause and experiential effect. Ultimately, mastery of this law comes down to a single principle: energetic coherence. Your thoughts, your emotions, your words, and your actions must all be aligned, all singing the same song, all broadcasting on the same clear frequency. You cannot think a thought of success while feeling the emotion of doubt, while speaking words of complaint, while taking hesitant, fearful actions, and expect the universe to understand your order. That is a signal of pure static. But when you clarify your vision in your mind, when you summon the elevated emotion of its fulfillment in your body, when you speak of your reality, with the certainty of it already being true. And when you take the actions that a person living that reality would take, then you become a laser beam of creative intent. You become energetically coherent. The universe receives a signal so powerful, so clear, and so unambiguous that it has no choice but to respond. The formless energy of the quantum field begins to precipitate, to organize itself around the powerful blueprint of your aligned being. Understanding this great law is the turning point. It is the moment you realize you are not a victim, but a potent creator. But knowledge alone is not enough. The crucial question then becomes, how do we do it? How do we practically, tangibly, change the very frequency of our being? How do we learn to tune our own instrument? The answer lies in the science of vibration. If the law of attraction is the universal principle, then learning to manage your vibration is the practical skill. It is the art and science of becoming the conscious conductor of your own energy. This is not a passive activity. It is the active practice of what you might call vibrational hygiene. It's about understanding that everything, and I mean everything, has a frequency. And everything you allow into your field either raises your vibration, lowers it, or reinforces its current state. You are a finely tuned musical instrument. And like any priceless violin or piano, you must be kept in an environment and handled in a way that preserves your perfect resonance. So, how do we begin to tune this sacred instrument of the self? We start by taking stock of the vibrational diet we are feeding ourselves every single day. Your environment is a powerful collective tuning fork that is constantly influencing your own frequency. Consider the information you consume. The news media, with its relentless focus on fear, disaster, and conflict, is a broadcast of low-frequency energy. When you consume it, you are, in essence, agreeing to tune your own instrument to the key of anxiety and powerlessness. The same is true for mindless gossip, cynical entertainment, and violent content. They are the vibrational equivalent of junk food, leaving your energy field feeling sluggish, heavy, and chaotic. A core practice of vibrational hygiene is to consciously curate your information diet. It means choosing to listen to audiobooks that expand your mind, to engage with music that elevates your spirit, to watch content that inspires and empowers you. It's not about burying your head in the sand. It's about choosing to nourish your energy field with frequencies of peace, possibility, and growth. This principle extends to your social circle. The people you spend the most time with have a profound and measurable effect on your energy field through the principle of entrainment. If you are surrounded by people who are constantly complaining, who are mired in victimhood, who criticize and judge, their low-frequency broadcast will inevitably begin to pull your own frequency down. Conversely, when you spend time with people who are optimistic, passionate, supportive, and living from a place of joy, their high-frequency energy naturally uplifts your own. This isn't about ruthlessly cutting people out of your life, but it is about taking a courageous inventory. Where is your precious time and energy going? Choose to consciously invest more of it with the uplifters, the inspirers, the visionaries. Seek out the people whose presence feels like sunshine, and you will find yourself vibrating at a higher level by simple resonant proximity. Yet, no amount of external curation can be a substitute for the master practice of internal tuning. Meditation. For many, the word meditation conjures images of pretzel-legged gurus and an impossible quest to stop thinking. This is a misunderstanding. The goal of meditation is not to stop your thoughts, but to stop being controlled by them. It is the practice of stepping out of the noisy, chaotic traffic of your egoic mind and taking a seat on the peaceful sidewalk of your awareness. From this vantage point, you can simply watch the thoughts, the fears, the to-do lists, as they drive by, without hitching a ride on every single one. In this space of detached observation, something miraculous happens. You begin to disidentify from the low-frequency chatter and connect with what is underneath it all. The deep, silent, profoundly peaceful field of pure consciousness. That is your true self. This is your innate, high-frequency home base. Daily meditation is the practice of returning home, of resetting your energetic baseline to peace, so that when you re-enter the world, you do so from a place of coherence and inner stability, rather than reactivity. The power of sound itself is one of the most ancient and potent tools for retuning your energy field. Ancient cultures knew that sound wasn't just for communication or entertainment. It was a creative force. Consider the great monasteries of the past. The Gregorian monks who chanted for hours each day were not just engaging in religious devotion. They were performing a sophisticated act of vibrational engineering. They understood that the sustained, harmonic tones of their chants created a powerful, coherent energy field that permeated the very stones of the abbey, creating a sacred space, a vortex of high-frequency energy that could elevate the consciousness of all who entered. This ancient wisdom is now being rediscovered in modern practices. You can explore audiobooks and recordings of solfeggio frequencies, specific tones like the famous 528 Hz, often called the miracle tone or love frequency, which are believed to help repair DNA and restore the body to perfect vibrational balance. You can attend a sound bath, where you are literally immersed in the healing vibrations of crystal bowls, gongs, and chimes, a process that can feel like a deep, cellular massage, breaking up stagnant energy and retuning your entire being. Or, on a daily basis, you can simply become your own sound healer, creating a playlist of music that instantly and reliably connects you to feelings of joy, power, or serenity, and using it as a tool to consciously shift your state whenever you feel your frequency begin to drop. Finally, one of the simplest and most powerful ways to recalibrate your energy is to connect with the largest and most stable tuning fork available to us. The planet Earth itself. The Earth maintains a natural, subtle electromagnetic frequency known as the Schumann resonance. It is the planet's heartbeat. In our modern lives, we have become disconnected from this grounding pulse. We live in insulated houses, work in high-rise buildings, and walk on pavement wearing rubber-soled shoes, all of which sever our natural electrical connection to the earth. The practice of earthing or grounding is the simple remedy. It is the act of taking off your shoes and placing your bare feet directly on the grass, the soil, or the sand. This direct contact allows the chaotic, static electrical energy from a stressful day to discharge from your body, while you simultaneously absorb the calm, stable, healing frequency of the earth. It is a quick, free, and profoundly effective way to soothe your nervous system and restore your natural harmony as we diligently work to tune our external environment and our internal state with these powerful practices, but often encounter a deeper, more stubborn form of resistance. It is the invisible architecture of our own minds, the rigid framework of our core beliefs. For our frequency to truly and permanently change, we must do more than just clean the instrument. We must begin to rebuild it from the inside out. Beneath the surface of your daily thoughts and feelings, beneath the practices you use to tune your frequency, lies the bedrock of your reality. It is the invisible architecture that dictates the shape of your entire life. This is the realm of your core beliefs. A belief is not just an idea you entertain. It is an idea that has become a fundamental truth of your operating system, a command etched into your subconscious mind. These beliefs function as the ultimate filter of perception, determining what information from the quantum field you even allow into your awareness. They are the silent, unseen architects of your energy, and therefore, of your world. If you want to permanently change your life, you cannot just redecorate the rooms. You must examine and, if necessary, rebuild the foundation. For most of us, this foundational blueprint was drawn when we were too young to even hold the pencil. Between the ages of 0 and 7, the human brain operates predominantly in a low-frequency, theta brainwave state. This is a state of hypnosis, of pure receptivity. A young child does not have a developed critical faculty to analyze or reject information. They are like a flawless recording device, absorbing the words, feelings, and behaviors of their environment and downloading them directly as truths. When you heard your parents constantly arguing about the lack of money, you weren't just observing a fight. You were downloading a core belief. Money is scarce and it causes pain and conflict. When you were chosen last for a team on the playground, you didn't just experience a fleeting disappointment. You may have installed a subconscious program that says, "I don't belong," or "I'm not good enough." When a stressed-out parent told you to be quiet and stay out of the way, you may have accepted the belief that, "My presence is a burden," or "My voice doesn't matter." These experiences, repeated over time, are not just memories. They are the building blocks of your identity, the core programming that now runs your life on autopilot. These limiting beliefs function like an energetic glass ceiling. Imagine you learn all the tools to raise your vibration. You meditate. You practice gratitude. You immerse yourself in uplifting music. Your energy begins to soar. You start to feel hopeful, powerful, aligned with the frequency of abundance and joy. But as your vibration rises, it inevitably hits the invisible barrier of a core limiting belief. For instance, one that says, "I am not worthy of success." The subconscious mind, whose primary job is to keep you safe within the familiar bounds of your programming, sounds an alarm. It perceives this new, high-flying state as a threat, a deviation from the established truth of your unworthiness. And so, it activates a self-sabotage protocol. You suddenly lose motivation. You pick a fight with a supportive partner. You make a foolish mistake at work. Your vibration comes crashing back down to the familiar, safe level below the glass ceiling. This is why people so often get close to a major breakthrough, only to have it all fall apart. It is not bad luck. It is a perfectly functioning system successfully protecting a flawed program. The first step in shattering this ceiling is to make it visible. You cannot change a program you do not know you are running. This requires the courage of an archaeologist, willing to gently dig into the soil of your own psyche. Your life, as it is right now, is the treasure map. The areas where you feel the most stuckness, frustration, and pain are the places marked X. If you consistently struggle with finances, you are guaranteed to have limiting beliefs about money. If you yearn for love but find yourself in a repeating pattern of painful relationships, you have limiting beliefs about your own lovability or about the nature of love itself. When a strong negative emotion arises, use it as a clue. Pause and ask yourself, with genuine curiosity, what would I have to believe is true about myself or the world to be feeling this so intensely? The answer that arises from the quiet is the voice of your subconscious program. The key to this excavation process is radical compassion. You must approach this work not as a judge condemning a flawed character, but as a wise and loving adult comforting a child. These beliefs are not you. They are simply old, outdated pieces of code that were installed long ago to help you make sense of your world. You can thank them for their service, and then lovingly declare them obsolete. The profound impact of these beliefs is not just spiritual or psychological. It is deeply biological, a truth brilliantly illuminated in the work of cell biologist Dr. Bruce Lipton, whose audiobook, The Biology of Belief, is a paradigm-shifting listen. Lipton's research proved that the fate of a cell is not controlled by its genes, but by the cell's perception of its environment. This perception happens at the cell membrane, which acts as the cell's brain. The membrane reads the signals from its environment and sends messages to the genes, telling them which blueprints to activate. Your beliefs are the filter that colors your perception of the world. If you hold a belief that the world is a dangerous place, your perception will constantly scan for threats. This perception floods your bloodstream with stress hormones like cortisol. When those chemicals reach your cells, the cell membranes interpret it as a genuine threat, and they tell your genes to activate a defensive fight-or-flight program. In this state, energy is diverted away from long-term projects like healing, growth, and immune function. Conversely, if you hold a belief that you are safe, loved, and supported, your perception tunes into evidence of that truth. This floods your body with life-affirming chemicals like oxytocin and dopamine. Your cells read this environment of love and safety, and they activate their growth and repair programs. Your beliefs are literally, not metaphorically, creating your biology. And that biological state is the very foundation of the energy you radiate. Once a belief is brought into the light of your awareness, you reclaim your power over it. Reprogramming the subconscious is a simple, though not always easy, process. It learns in specific ways. It learns through repetition. This is where affirmations, when used correctly, become powerful by consistently and with feeling, introducing a new, empowering belief to your mind, especially in the suggestible states just before sleep and upon waking. You begin to carve a new neural pathway. The subconscious also learns through heightened emotional experience. It doesn't care about dry logic. It cares about powerful feelings. We can use this to our advantage by creating profound emotional experiences in meditation and visualization. And finally, it learns by recognizing new patterns. You can consciously decide to become a detective for contradictory evidence. If your old belief is "I'm never lucky," start a journal and rigorously document every single tiny piece of good fortune that comes your way. From finding a parking spot to receiving a compliment, you are actively gathering data to prove the old program false. Once we begin this courageous work of excavating and rewriting the fundamental code of our beliefs, we clear the ground for new construction. We remove the energetic ceiling that has held us down. Now, with a cleaner foundation, we can pick up one of the most powerful tools of the conscious creator. The tool that allows us to rehearse a future reality so vividly that the mind and body believe it is happening right now. We can enter the grand theater of the mind, the practice of visualization. Your mind is the most powerful and sophisticated virtual reality simulator ever created. It is a quantum holodeck, capable of constructing worlds, evoking emotions, and rehearsing futures with a level of realism that can profoundly alter your biology and your energetic state. This is the faculty of imagination, but we have been taught to treat it as a frivolous tool for idle daydreaming. Its true purpose is far more sacred and far more powerful. It is the rehearsal studio for creation. What if you could step into the life you desire? Feel its textures, hear its sounds, and experience its emotions, all before it has physically arrived. And what if that very act of rehearsal was the energetic cause that compelled its arrival? This is the art and science of visualization, and it is one of the most direct methods for speaking the language of the quantum field. The first step is to discard the common notion that visualization is merely seeing a picture in your head. This limited understanding is why so many people get frustrated and give up, complaining that they can't see anything. True, effective visualization is a full-body, multi-sensory immersion. It is not just seeing, it is being. You must activate the entire theater of the mind. Let's say your desire is to be a successful author holding your first published book. Don't just try to see a vague image of the book. Step into the scene. You are there. Right now, what do you see? See the specific colors on the cover, the way the light glints off the glossy finish. See your name, printed in bold type. Look around the room. Notice the furniture, the light coming through the window. Then, what do you hear? Perhaps the quiet rustle of the pages as you thumb through them, the distant sound of city life, or maybe a friend's voice congratulating you on the phone. What do you smell? The unique, satisfying scent of fresh paper and ink. And most importantly, what do you feel? Feel the solid weight of the book in your hands, the smooth texture of the cover under your fingertips. And then, go deeper. What is the dominant emotion welling up inside of you? Is it the profound relief of a long-held dream realized? Is it the quiet, tearful pride of accomplishment? Is it the explosive joy of seeing your creation made real? That feeling, that emotion, is the magic ingredient. It is the key that unlocks the door between the inner and outer worlds. Because it is the feeling that convinces your body that the experience is real. This is not just a psychological trick. It is a neurological and biological fact. Neuroscientists have shown that when you vividly imagine performing an action, your brain fires in almost the exact same patterns and sequences as when you are physically performing it. World-class Olympic athletes have used this for decades. A downhill skier can sit in a quiet room, close their eyes, and mentally rehearse a perfect run. In their mind, they feel the pull of gravity, the bite of their skis on the ice, the subtle shifts in their body as they navigate every gate. Brain scans show that their brain is firing as if they are actually on the mountain. They are strengthening the neural pathways for success, creating muscle memory, and conditioning their nervous system for a flawless performance, all without moving a single muscle. When you apply this to your life, you are doing the exact same thing. When you vividly imagine your desired reality and you flood your body with the emotion of that reality, your brain doesn't know the difference. It believes it is happening now. As a result, it instructs your body to produce the corresponding chemistry. Your body is drenched in the neuropeptides and hormones of success, of love, of wellness. You are actively rewiring your brain to be the brain of the person you want to become. And you are reconditioning your body to a new emotional home state. You are, quite literally, becoming that new person from the inside out. On a cellular level, think of it as a dress rehearsal for your future. No actor would dare to step onto the stage for opening night without having rehearsed their lines and movements until they were second nature. Visualization is how you make your future self second nature, by repeatedly and consistently visiting your desired reality in the theater of your mind. You make it familiar. You remove its newness, its tongueness, its capacity to shock you. When your dream opportunity finally does manifest in the physical world, it doesn't feel like a jarring fluke that your subconscious mind might try to reject as too good to be true. It feels natural. It feels comfortable. It feels like the next logical step in a story you already know by heart. This sense of naturalness and familiarity is the state of allowing. It tells the universe that you are truly ready and open to receive, because you have already accepted it as real within yourself. The great mystic of the 20th century, Neville Goddard, was an unparalleled master of this creative art, and his many recorded lectures, now available as audiobooks, are the ultimate manual. Neville's core teaching was elegantly simple. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. He taught that the most potent time for this practice is in the state akin to sleep, or SATS, that drowsy, magical window of time just before you drift off at night. In this state, the analytical, conscious mind is subdued, and the gateway to the subconscious is open and receptive. He instructed to always visualize from a first-person perspective. You are not watching a movie of yourself. You are the star of the movie, looking out through your own eyes. If you desire a new home, you are not watching yourself walk through it. You are feeling your own feet on the new floor. You are touching the cool marble of the countertop with your own hands. The key, he stressed, was to condense the scene down to a short, simple action that implies the wish has already been fulfilled, and then to loop that scene over and over, all while capturing the essential feeling. Is the feeling relief, gratitude, security? Find that single, dominant feeling and saturate yourself in it. As you replay your short scene until you fall asleep in that state of assumption. In doing so, you are impregnating the vast, creative subconscious with the seed of your fulfilled desire, which it must then, by its nature, nurture into physical form. A final, vital piece of advice. Consistency is infinitely more powerful than intensity. The subconscious mind learns through repetition. A heartfelt, focused 5-minute session every single night before bed is far more effective than one heroic, hour-long struggle once a week. It is the steady, gentle drip of water that eventually wears away the stone and carves a new path. It is the daily practice that rewires the brain and reconditions the body. When this practice of inner seeing and inner feeling becomes a habit, it begins to naturally overflow. The reality you are rehearsing in the theater of your mind starts to seek expression through your voice. The Image Desire script, the internal state wants to declare itself to the world, not as a hope, not as a wish, but as an established fact. This is where we discover the immense, creative magic encoded in the very words we speak. When the inner reality, so carefully constructed in the silent theater of the mind, becomes vibrant and familiar, it naturally seeks a voice. The image craves a script. The feeling demands expression. This is where the creative process moves from the ethereal realm of imagery into the physical realm of vibration. Through the sacred power of the spoken word, ancient traditions have always understood this. The Book of Genesis states, "In the beginning was the Word." The Hindu scriptures speak of Om as the primordial sound that created the universe. They knew that words are not merely descriptive labels. They are creative forces. A word is a thought made audible. It is energy compressed into a specific frequency and released into the world through the breath, carrying with it the intention and emotion of its speaker. Your words are commands. They are spells you are casting all day long, whether you are conscious of it or not. This is the principle behind affirmations, a practice often misunderstood and misused. Many people feel foolish repeating a phrase like, "I am wealthy and abundant." When their senses report an empty bank account, they feel like they are lying to themselves. And this internal conflict cancels out any potential benefit. But this is a profound misinterpretation of the practice. An affirmation is not meant to be a description of your current, temporary, physical reality. An affirmation is a declaration of a higher, truer, energetic reality that you are choosing to align with. It is an act of spiritual defiance. It is you, the conscious creator, standing in the face of contrary evidence and boldly declaring what you decree to be true. You are not lying to your subconscious. You are re-educating it. You are not lying to the universe. You are giving it a direct order. You are a prophet of your own life, speaking your chosen future into existence, using the power of your word to command the formless energy to take form. Within the vast lexicon of human language, no two words carry more creative potency than "I am." These are the two most powerful words you will ever utter, for they are a direct statement of being, linked to the divine. The I is the name of God in so many traditions, the name of the pure, formless awareness that is your true self. The AM is the statement of immediate, present existence. Therefore, whatever you attach to the statement "I am" becomes a divine decree. You are literally commanding reality to conform to your statement of being. Now, take a moment to become aware of how casually and how dangerously you use these words every day. I am so tired. I am sick of this. I am broke. I am always unlucky. Each of these is a potent, self-inflicted curse. It is an incantation of limitation that your subconscious mind and the universe accept without question as a command. The first and most powerful step in reclaiming your creative authority is to become a vigilant guardian of these two words. You must consciously stop defining yourself by your temporary problems and start defining yourself by your limitless potential. Catch the negative "I am" and replace it. Instead of "I am tired," declare "I am filled with vibrant energy." Instead of "I am broke," declare "I am a magnet for financial abundance and opportunity." You are taking the ultimate statement of creative power and aiming it for the first time, in the direction you truly want to go. To amplify this power exponentially, we must evolve from a passive affirmation to an active incantation. This is the difference between whispering a hope and embodying a declaration. A passively recited affirmation, spoken with little energy or belief, has minimal impact. An incantation engages your entire being. As modern masters like Tony Robbins teach, you must unite the trinity of your focus, your physiology, and your language. Don't just say the words. Feel them. And don't just feel them. Change your body to match them. If you are declaring, "I am a powerful, confident creator," do not say it slumped in a chair with a weak voice. Stand up tall. Pull your shoulders back. Lift your chin. Put a powerful smile on your face. Make a fist. Change your physical state to one of absolute power and confidence. Then, speak the words, not as a whisper, but as a roar. A chant. A declaration that comes from the depths of your soul. This congruent explosion of energy, the powerful words, the confident physiology, the intense emotion, sends a lightning bolt of a signal into the quantum field. It shatters subconscious resistance and commands every cell in your body to get on board with this new reality. You are no longer asking for a change. You are being the change with every fiber of your existence. This is not a new invention. The great spiritual teacher, Florence Scovel Shinn, in her timeless 1925 audiobook, The Game of Life and How to Play It, taught this very principle. She understood that life was a game governed by spiritual laws, and the power of the spoken word was a primary way to play it successfully. She taught that the word has gone forth, and it shall not return void. For her, speaking a powerful affirmation, or what she sometimes called a divine decree, was like releasing an arrow that must, by law, hit its target. She instructed her students to speak their commands to the great I Am within, the divine intelligence that listens and obeys. Her affirmations were not timid requests. They were bold, fearless commands like, "I now smash and demolish by my spoken word every untrue record in my subconscious mind. They shall return to the dust heap of their native nothingness. For they came from my own vain imaginings. I now make my perfect records through the Christ within, the records of health, wealth, love, and perfect self-expression." She knew that words were weapons in the battle against fear, and tools in the construction of a beautiful life. With this understanding, you must become an avid observer of your own language, both internal and external. For one day, listen to yourself as a neutral third party. Listen to your casual complaints, your sighs of resignation, your self-deprecating jokes. "Oh, that's just my luck. I can never catch a break. Why does this always happen to me? I'm such an idiot." Each of these is a negative incantation. Each one is a prayer for more of what you do not want. You have been diligently practicing the magic of words your entire life, but you have been casting spells of limitation upon yourself. The most powerful affirmation you run is your own inner dialogue. That constant chatter is either building your palace or reinforcing your prison. Moment by moment, the work is to lovingly, patiently, begin rewriting that internal script. It is to choose the language of a creator over the language of a victim. When the inner world of your imagery aligns with the outer world of your declared word, you have created a resonant engine of manifestation. But there is one emotional state, one specific frequency, that can act as a universal catalyst for all of this work. It is an energy that dissolves resistance, amplifies your creative power, and signals to the universe that you are ready to receive. It is the ultimate key that turns the lock of abundance. This is the profound, reality-altering power of gratitude. If visualization is the blueprint and the spoken word is the command, then gratitude is the divine energy that breathes life into your creations. It is the ultimate catalyst. the master frequency that harmonizes your personal energy field with the infinite abundance of the universe itself. In the symphony of creation, gratitude is the resonant chord that makes the entire orchestra play in perfect tune. It is more than a polite courtesy or a fleeting emotion. It is a state of being, a conscious choice to align with the frequency of receiving. When you understand its power, you will realize you have been holding the master key to a magical life all along. Let's explore the physics of why this works. The universe, as we've established, is a mirror, reflecting back to you the energy you are broadcasting. When you exist in a state of complaining, focusing on what's wrong, what you lack, what you don't have, your energy field is constricted. It is like a clenched fist, broadcasting a tight, resistant signal of not enough. A clenched fist cannot receive anything. It is closed off. But when you enter a genuine state of gratitude, your entire energy field shifts. It becomes open, expansive, and receptive. It becomes like an open hand. You are broadcasting a coherent, welcoming signal of I am provided for. Life is good. The universe hears this powerful signal of sufficiency and, abiding by its own immutable law, of to those who have, more will be given. It has no choice but to flood your experience with more things to be grateful for. This is not a moral reward. It is a vibrational match. The feeling of having is the energetic prerequisite to getting more. By being grateful for the $1 in your pocket, you align yourself with the frequency of money, opening the door for more to flow in. By being grateful for a single supportive friend, you align yourself with the frequency of love, making space for more connection. Gratitude is the conscious act of acknowledging the good you already have, which energetically signals that you are ready for the greater good that is waiting for you. This is why a transactional approach to gratitude is fundamentally flawed. So many of us are taught to bargain with the universe. I will be grateful when I get the new job. I will feel grateful when I am healed. I will be grateful when I find a partner. This is putting the effect before the cause. It is telling the universe that you will only broadcast the signal of receiving after you have already received. It doesn't work that way. The feeling state must come first. Gratitude is not the celebration after the rain has fallen. It is the faith-filled dance that makes the clouds gather. It is a state of being you must choose to inhabit now. Regardless of your external circumstances, it is the decision to walk through your current reality, whatever it may be, and actively hunt for the good. It is the practice of finding the magic in the mundane, the blessing in the ordinary, the abundance in a simple breath. When you can feel genuine gratitude for the roof over your head, the food on your table, and the very air you breathe, you are telling the universe that you are a person who recognizes and values blessings. You become a vibrational magnet for more of them. Here we arrive at one of the most potent and advanced manifestation techniques available to a conscious creator. The practice of giving thanks for your desire before it has physically appeared. This is the ultimate fusion of visualization, affirmation, and emotional power. It is the act of collapsing time. You do not just visualize your goal. You step into that finished scene in the theater of your mind and you let your heart explode with gratitude for it. You don't just affirm, I am healthy. You put your hand on your heart and say, with tears of genuine relief and joy welling in your eyes, thank you, thank you, thank you for my perfect health. Thank you for this vibrant, powerful body. Thank you for my complete and total healing. In that moment, something miraculous happens. You have completely erased the energy of wanting, of lacking, of hoping. You have bypassed the doubt of the conscious mind and spoken directly to the subconscious in the past tense language of a completed fact. You have sent the clearest, most powerful, and most coherent signal possible into the quantum field. A signal that doesn't say, I hope to receive this, but rather I have already received it. This is the fast track. This is the method of the masters. It is the state of being so certain of the creative power within you and the responsiveness of the universe that you can give thanks for the answer before you have even finished asking the question. This profound principle is the entire basis for Rhonda Byrne's second powerful work, The Magic, an audiobook that serves as a practical 28-day boot camp for the soul. It is a guided journey designed to systematically rewire your brain from its default patterns of complaint and lack into a new, default state of relentless gratitude. Through simple, daily practices, it guides you to flood every area of your life, your health, career, finances, and relationships with the transformative power of gratitude. It's a manual for turning on the lights in your life, one grateful thought at a time, and shows how this systematic application can produce results that feel nothing short of magical. Beyond its immense creative power, gratitude is also your most immediate emotional rescue tool. It is your emergency brake for negative momentum. It is a physiological and energetic impossibility to feel genuine gratitude and crippling fear at the very same moment. They are mutually exclusive frequencies. The next time you find yourself caught in a downward spiral of anxiety, worry, or resentment, force a pattern interrupt. Stop, take a deep breath, and find one thing, anything, to be grateful for. It could be the comfort of the chair you're sitting in. It could be the memory of a pet. It could be the simple fact that your heart is still beating. Latch onto that one small thing and say thank you. Feel that small seed of warmth. Then find another, and another. Within minutes, you can feel the icy grip of the lower emotions begin to melt away. Gratitude is the ladder that allows you to climb out of the pit of fear and back into the light of peace. When you make gratitude your home base, when you master your thoughts, feelings, and words, you become a powerful broadcasting station of creative energy. But even the most powerful broadcast can be weakened by static and interference. There is a subtle, yet immensely powerful, force within us that resists this new, high-flying state. It is the force of attachment, of control, of trying too hard to truly allow our desires to manifest. We must learn the paradoxical and profound art of letting go. You have done the work. You have clarified your vision in the theater of your mind. You have commanded it into being with the power of your spoken word. And you have bathed it in the ultimate creative catalyst of gratitude. You have built a powerful, coherent, energetic rocket and pointed it toward your desired destination. Now comes the most paradoxical, and for many, the most challenging step of all. You must let it go. You must release your grip. Walk away from the launch pad and trust the rocket to find its own way through the cosmos. This is the art of surrender, the final and most crucial ingredient in the recipe of creation. Without it, even the most powerful intentions can be held hostage on the ground, chained by the very force that was meant to launch them, your own desperate need for them to succeed. This chaining force is called resistance. Resistance is energetic friction. It is the static that interferes with your clear broadcast to the universe. It feels like effort, like struggle, like forcing, like swimming upstream against a powerful current. Resistance arises from one primary source: your attachment to the outcome. It is the part of your ego that says, "I have done my part, and now I must stand here and micromanage the universe to make sure it does its part correctly." This micromanagement shows up in two primary ways: obsessing over the how and worrying about the when. When you obsess over how your desire will manifest, you are, in essence, telling the infinite creative intelligence of the universe that you, with your limited human perspective, know the best possible path. You are trying to force open one single door, completely blind to the thousands of other windows, secret passage, and magical portals the universe might be trying to open for you. This need to control the logistics introduces the dense energy of doubt and constriction, strangling the very flow you wish to create. When you worry about when your desire will arrive, You are constantly checking your watch, tapping your foot, and questioning the process. This is a powerful broadcast of impatience, which is simply a mask for a deeper, more corrosive energy, the belief that it hasn't happened yet, and it might not happen at all. This is why the act of letting go is so profoundly important. But let us be crystal clear about what letting go is and what it is not. Letting go is not apathy. It is not giving up on your dream. It is not a passive resignation to fate where you sit on the couch and do nothing. True, empowered letting go is the surrender of anxiety, not the surrender of your desire. It is the release of your need to control, not the release of your intention. It is a deeply active and courageous act of trust. It is you looking the universe in the eye and saying, I have done my sacred work of creation. I have planted the seed with clarity and love. Now, I surrender the miracle of its growth to you. I trust your timing. I trust your methods. I trust that you see the whole picture while I see only a small piece. My job now is to keep my own energy high, to live in joyful expectation, and to get out of your way so you can do your work. It is the difference between a clenched fist of control and an open hand of receiving. Impatience, that urgent, nagging feeling that it should be here by now, is one of the most potent forms of resistance. It feels proactive, but energetically, it is pure poison to your manifestation. Impatience is a state of being that is hyper-focused on the absence of your desire. It is a constant affirmation of it's not here yet, and since the universe only ever mirrors your state of being, a state of not here yet can only ever attract more. Not here yet. The antidote to impatience is to return, again and again, to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It is to find that state of gratitude for it already being done in the energetic realm. True patience is not a grim, joyless waiting. It is a calm, serene knowing. It is the quiet confidence of a master farmer who has planted a seed in fertile soil. It knows he has done everything right and can now tend to the rest of his garden with a peaceful heart, knowing the sun and the rain are doing their work and the harvest is inevitable. Imagine a person who has fallen into a powerful river. Their first instinct is to fight. They flail against the current, desperately trying to swim back to the spot where they fell in. They are panicked, exhausted, swallowing water, and making absolutely no progress. This is resistance. It is the ego fighting against the natural flow of life. Now imagine that person has a moment of insight. They realize their struggle is futile. They stop fighting. They take a breath, lean back, and surrender to the current. They let the river carry them. Instantly, the struggle ceases. They are now moving with speed and grace, carried by a power far greater than their own. They can breathe. They can rest. They can even enjoy the journey and observe the beautiful scenery on the riverbanks, trusting that the river knows the way to the vast, open ocean. This is the art of letting go. This is precisely the wisdom taught by Michael A. Singer in his profound audiobook, The Untethered Soul. He teaches that life will constantly present us with events that trigger our stored, negative energy patterns, our inner thorns. Our habit is to tense up, to resist, to fight the feeling. Singer's teaching is to learn to relax and release. It is to breathe through the discomfort and let the trapped energy flow through you and out of you, rather than holding on to it. This moment-to-moment practice of surrender is the ultimate form of letting go, allowing the river of life to carry you toward your highest good, instead of constantly fighting its inevitable current. This state of surrender, of allowing, is not empty. It is a vibrant, active state of awareness. It is the conscious choice to release your white-knuckled death grip on the steering wheel of your life. Letting go creates a vacuum, an open space in your energy field. As long as you are cramming that space full of your own worry, your plans, your timelines, and your anxieties, there is no room for the universe to step in and deliver its miracles. When you truly let go, you create the space for synchronicity to occur, for unexpected opportunities to appear, for the perfect people to show up. You are signaling that you are ready for the magic. You do the focused, joyful work of aligning your energy, and then you step back into a state of profound trust and watch the masterpiece unfold. But what if this resistance, this inability to let go, feels deeper than just conscious worry? What if it feels like an automatic, ingrained program that runs without our permission? Often, this deep-seated resistance doesn't originate in our conscious mind at all. It comes from the vast, powerful, and often mysterious gatekeeper of our reality, the subconscious mind, beneath the choppy waves of your conscious mind. With its endless chatter, its logical reasoning, and its fleeting willpower, lies a vast and fathomless ocean. This is the realm of your subconscious mind. If your consciousness is the tip of the iceberg, the part you see and identify with, then your subconscious is the colossal, submerged mass that gives the iceberg its true power and direction. Neuroscientists estimate that this hidden mind is responsible for at least 95% of your life. It runs your body, beating your heart and digesting your food without any conscious thought. It houses all of your memories, your learned skills, and your deepest emotional patterns. It is the seat of your habits and the vault where your core beliefs are stored. To try and change your life using only the 5% of your conscious willpower is like trying to change the direction of an iceberg by pushing against its tip with a small rowboat. It is an exhausting and ultimately futile battle. To become a true master of your reality, you must learn to communicate with the immense, silent power that lies beneath the surface. Think of your subconscious mind as the most powerful and obedient servant you will ever have. It is a biological supercomputer, programmed with one primary directive: to run its existing programs efficiently and keep you alive. It is unfailingly faithful, but it is also completely literal. Critically, it has no capacity for judgment. It does not know the difference between a good program and a bad one. It only knows the code it has been given. If, in your childhood, a program was installed that says, "I have to work incredibly hard for every dollar," your subconscious will execute that program with flawless precision for the next 50 years. It will ensure that you overlook easy opportunities, that you are drawn to difficult jobs, and that your experience of reality perfectly validates the truth of that code. It isn't punishing you. It is simply running the software. When you understand this, you can let go of self-blame. Your struggles are not a sign that you are broken or flawed. They are merely the result of running outdated software. The task, then, is not to fight your subconscious, but to befriend it, and to learn how to lovingly install a new set of instructions. To do this, you must learn to speak its language. Trying to persuade your subconscious with logic and reason is like trying to describe a sunset to a computer in poetry. It simply doesn't compute. The subconscious is pre-verbal and pre-logical. It understands three languages above all others. The first is the language of imagery. It thinks in pictures, symbols, and metaphors. This is precisely why the practice of vivid, sensory-rich visualization is so incredibly effective. When you create a detailed inner world and live in it, you are showing your subconscious a new reality in the format it understands best. The second language is the language of feeling. The subconscious is the seat of your emotions. A thought alone is a suggestion, but a thought fused with a powerful, elevated emotion is a direct command that it cannot ignore. This is why feeling the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the secret key to manifestation. The third, and perhaps most important, language is the language of repetition. The subconscious mind creates and strengthens programs through patterns. It loves automation because it is efficient. When you present it with the same thought, the same feeling, the same visualization, day after day, you are telling it, this is the new reality. This is the new default. Please automate this program. Through repetition, you are carving a new neural pathway, a new groove of habit, until the new way of being becomes more natural than the old one. So how do we get these new instructions past the skeptical, analytical conscious mind, which often acts as a stubborn gatekeeper? We must wait until the gatekeeper is drowsy and off guard. This happens in a specific brainwave state called theta. In your normal, waking, busy state, your brain is in beta. As you relax, it shifts to alpha. But in the magical window between wakefulness and sleep, or in a state of deep meditation, your brain enters the slow, dreamy, hypnotic state of theta. In theta, the analytical barrier of the conscious mind dissolves, and the door to the subconscious operating system swings wide open. This is the golden gateway for reprogramming. This is why the practice of visualizing just before you fall asleep, as taught by Neville Goddard, is so important. You are implanting your desired reality directly onto the fertile soil of the subconscious at the most receptive moment possible. Modern teachers like Dr. Joe Dispenza have built a powerful, scientifically backed methodology around this very principle. His many audiobooks and guided meditations are not merely relaxation exercises. They are sophisticated neurological training sessions. They are specifically designed to guide the listener out of the high-stress beta state and into the coherent alpha and suggestible theta states. Once the listener is in this receptive state, he guides them through a process of mentally rehearsing who they want to become. By repeatedly combining a clear intention with an elevated emotion, you are giving your body a taste of the future reality. You are generating the brain and body chemistry of your future self. Right now, as Dr. Dispenza teaches, when you do this properly, your body does not know the difference between the imagined event and a real-life experience. You are literally installing new neurological hardware and signaling new genes in new ways. You are becoming your future self from the inside out, using the theta state as your workshop for transformation. This understanding also reveals one of the unique superpowers of the audiobook format for personal growth. When you are listening in a relaxed state, perhaps on a long drive or as you are winding down for the evening, your conscious guard is lowered. The empowering messages, the inspiring stories, the profound truths contained within the narrator's voice can bypass the cynical gatekeeper and seep directly into your subconscious mind. This is a form of gentle, positive, subliminal programming. You are absorbing new beliefs and new possibilities on a deep level, often without even realizing the full extent of the process. It's like planting a beautiful garden in your mind while you rest, allowing the seeds of a new reality to take root. When your conscious desires are finally in alignment with your subconscious programs, you become a truly coherent being. Your thoughts, feelings, and actions all move in the same direction, and you become an unstoppable force of creation. But as we begin this reprogramming process, we often meet one final, very clever, and very vocal saboteur. It is the part of us that is most identified with the old programs, the part that fears change above all else. It is the gatekeeper of our personal identity, the character we believe ourselves to be. We must now turn and face the shadow player in the game of life, the ego. As you diligently work to reprogram your subconscious and align your energy, you may notice the emergence of a very clever internal saboteur. Just as you begin to feel a sense of peace, a critical voice appears. Just as you start to feel worthy, a wave of familiar doubt washes over you. This is not some external force fighting against you. It is the last line of defense of your old identity. It is the shadow player in the game of creation, the part of you that is most invested in keeping things exactly as they have always been. This is the human ego. To navigate the final stages of becoming a conscious creator, you must learn to understand, befriend, and gently move past this powerful internal gatekeeper. Our goal is not to destroy the ego, for that would be a war against ourselves. The goal is to tame it, to love it, and to lovingly relieve it of a job it was never qualified to do. Running your life. So what is this ego? It is not your true self. It is a phantom self, a construct of the mind, a sense of I that is built and maintained by identification. It is a collage of memories from your past, a story you tell yourself about who you are. It identifies with your possessions, your job title, your accomplishments, your body, your relationships, and your opinions. Its entire existence is dependent on maintaining this sense of a separate, vulnerable self. And because it is a phantom, it lives in a constant state of fear, knowing that at its core, it isn't real. To sustain itself, it employs several key strategies. It thrives on fear. Because a problem gives it a purpose, it thrives on comparison, constantly needing to feel superior or inferior to others, as both reinforce its sense of separateness. And it thrives on being right, defending its opinions as if its very life depended on it. Because in a sense, it does. The ego is the complaining voice, the inner narrator, the part of you that is never satisfied with the present moment and is always seeking the next thing to complete itself. Here we encounter a profound paradox. The ego, whose job is supposedly to protect you, is often the biggest obstacle to your own joy and expansion. Why? Because a genuine spiritual awakening, a sustained state of high vibration energy, is a direct threat to the ego's survival. In a state of true presence, the past and future, which are the ego's playground, simply dissolve. In a state of deep love or connection with another being or with nature, the feeling of separation, which is the ego's very foundation, melts away. Therefore, from the ego's limited perspective, peace is a threat, presence is a void, and love is an annihilation. It would rather be the star of a familiar, miserable drama than a supporting character in an unknown, blissful piece. So, when you start raising your vibration, the ego gets scared and pulls out all its tricks to bring you back down to a familiar frequency. It will whisper, "Who do you think you are? You don't deserve to feel this good." It will dredge up old memories of failure to prove that this will never last. It will create a pointless argument with a loved one just to generate the familiar, low-frequency energy of anger and righteousness. It is the master of self-sabotage, all in the name of self-preservation. The path to freedom from the ego's tyranny is not through fighting it, but through a gentle and radical act. Observation. You must learn to disidentify from the voice in your head. You are not that voice. You are the one who hears it. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness in which the thoughts arise and pass away. This is the beginning of all liberation. The moment you notice the egoic voice without believing its story, you are free. Try this right now. Simply wait for your next thought to arise. Just watch and wait. In that moment of waiting, who was doing the watching? There was you. The silent, aware presence. And then there was the thought, the object of your attention. In that subtle separation, you experience your true nature. The ego cannot survive in the light of awareness. It's like a shadow that vanishes when you shine a light on it. When the complaining voice begins its narrative, simply notice it. There is the complaining thought. No judgment. No resistance. Just a calm, clear seeing. When you feel a surge of anger and the need to be right, simply notice it. The ego is flaring up, trying to defend itself. In this noticing, you are no longer possessed by the ego. You are the spacious, peaceful awareness, watching the antics of a frightened child. The modern master of this teaching is Eckhart Tolle, whose transformative audiobook, A New Earth, serves as the most comprehensive guide to understanding and transcending the human ego. Tolle masterfully dissects the ego's many dysfunctions, from its identification with form, to its love of drama, to its need for enemies, he introduces the concept of the pain body. The accumulation of old, unresolved emotional pain that lives in our energy field. This pain body is an entity that the ego often merges with, and it periodically awakens to feed on more pain, creating situations that will generate the negative emotions it needs for sustenance. By understanding this mechanism, you can learn to recognize when your pain body is active and choose not to feed it by reacting. You can simply observe it with compassion until it starves and dissolves. Tolle's core teaching is that the only true antidote to the ego and its pain body is the state of presence, of bringing your full, non-judgmental attention into the now, in the stillness of the present moment. The ego simply cannot operate. This leads to the ultimate method for taming this shadow player. It is not with force, but with love. The ego is, at its heart, a terrified part of your own psyche. It is a survival program that went into overdrive and took over the whole system. When you hear its fearful whispers, its arrogant boasts, or its whiny complaints, instead of getting angry with it, try a different approach. Treat it like a scared child. You can internally say, "I hear you. Thank you for trying to protect me. I know you're scared. But I've got this now. I am the loving, conscious awareness in charge. And we are safe." This act of loving compassion is what finally allows the ego to relax. It feels seen. It feels loved. And it begins to understand that it no longer needs to fight for its survival. It can relinquish its role as the frantic, insecure master of your life and integrate back into the wholeness of your being, becoming a useful, but subordinate tool for navigating the world, rather than the tyrant that runs it. Having journeyed through the inner landscape of energy, belief, and the ego, we are now poised for a new kind of interaction with the world. We are no longer pushing, forcing, or struggling. We are listening. We are waiting for the signal. The question now becomes, once we have done our inner work and aligned our frequency, how do we move in the physical world? The answer lies in learning to distinguish between the frantic energy of forced action and the graceful, powerful flow of inspired action. When you have journeyed deep into the inner world, when you have learned to tame your mind, align your emotions, and befriend your ego, you arrive at a pivotal moment. It is the moment where the inner work must translate into outer expression. But how? How do we act in the world from this new state of being? Our culture has sold us a single, exhausting model for success: the grind. We are taught to hustle, to struggle, to force things into existence through sheer, relentless effort. We are told to push the boulder up the hill every single day, and that our reward will be found in our sweat and our exhaustion. But the conscious creator knows there is a different way, a more graceful, more powerful, and infinitely more joyful path. It is the path of learning to distinguish between the frantic, draining energy of forced action and the light, exhilarating current of inspired action. Forced action is what most of us have known our entire lives. It is born from the energy of lack. It is fueled by the ego's fear that, if I don't make this happen, it will never happen. It feels heavy. It feels like a chore. It is the sales call you dread making. You the report you have to drag yourself to write. In the networking event, you attend out of a sense of obligation. When you are engaged in forced action, you are swimming against the current. Your energy depletes rapidly. Your results are often disappointing. And the entire process reinforces the limiting belief that success must be hard-won through struggle and sacrifice. Forced action is the ego's attempt to control the how and the when. It is the logical mind trying to figure out all the steps from A to Z, creating a rigid plan and then trying to bludgeon reality into conforming to it. It is an act of distrust in the universe, a statement that you believe your own limited power is greater than the infinite organizing intelligence of the cosmos. Inspired action, on the other hand, is a completely different phenomenon. It is born from a state of alignment. It does not come from your logical mind. It comes to your logical mind. It feels light, exciting, and often completely effortless. It is the sudden urge to call an old friend you haven't spoken to in years. It is the idea for a business that flashes into your mind while you're singing in the shower. It is the spontaneous desire to visit a particular bookstore, where you happen to find the exact book that solves a problem you've been wrestling with. Inspired action feels like a gentle, cosmic nudge. It feels less like you are doing something, and more like something is being done through you. You lose track of time. What you are doing doesn't feel like work. It feels like play. This is the state that great artists and innovators describe as flow. Imagine an artist standing before a blank canvas. On Monday, he is in a state of forced action. He is anxious, worried about paying his bills. And he tells himself, I must create a masterpiece today. He picks up the brush, but his movements are stiff. His colors are muddy. He fights with the composition, paints for hours, and at the end of the day, he has produced nothing but a canvas full of his own frustration. He has drained his energy and has nothing to show for it. Now, imagine the same artist on Tuesday. He decides to forget about the masterpiece. He spends the morning listening to music he loves. He goes for a walk in nature. He does things that bring him into a state of joy and appreciation. He aligns his energy. That night, he is woken at 3 a.m. by a vivid, fully formed image burning in his mind. He leaps out of bed, rushes to his studio, and for the next few hours, he is not painting. He is the painting. The brush moves with a life of its own. Colors blend perfectly. The work flows out of him with an exhilarating, effortless grace. By dawn, a masterpiece stands before him. One that feels like it was given to him, not made by him. The first day was forced action, born of fear. The second was inspired action, born of alignment. This illustrates the sacred partnership you have with the universe. Your primary job is not to figure out the how. Your primary job is to align your energy. It is to get yourself into a state of joy, peace, and gratitude first. For no reason at all, other than it feels good. You tend to your own vibration. That is your work. The universe's job is to be the master logistician. It can see the entire cosmic web, the infinite pathways and connections that your conscious mind cannot. When you hold a high, stable frequency, the universe can then deliver the perfect next step to you in the form of an idea, an impulse, an urge, a synchronicity. This is the inspired thought. Your second job is then to honor that inspiration with immediate, trusting action. You must act on the cosmic nudge without hesitation and without needing to understand the logic. That urge to call an old friend, that friend might mention a job opening perfect for you. That desire to visit a bookstore, the person you meet in line might be your future business partner. You don't need to see the whole staircase. You just need to trust the nudge and take the first step. Sometimes, the most powerful and inspired action you can take is to do nothing at all. If you have aligned your energy and you feel no clear, joyful impulse to act, then forcing yourself to get busy for the sake of being productive is a step backward. It is an act of doubt. In these moments of quiet, the true inspired action is to double down on your alignment. Go meditate, read a book that uplifts you, go for a walk. Your work is to hold the frequency, to trust that the impulse will come in its perfect time. This is the ultimate act of faith in the process. It is this very idea that the great mythologist Joseph Campbell pointed to with his famous advice, follow your bliss. He wasn't advocating for a life of mindless pleasure. He was pointing to this internal guidance system. Your bliss, your feeling of aliveness, of excitement, of deep rightness, is the universe showing you the trail. Campbell said that if you follow that trail, the doors will open for you, where you did not know there were going to be doors. and where there wouldn't be a door for anyone else. This is the path of inspired action. When we learn to live in this state of vibrational alignment and act only on the joyful flow of inspiration, we become truly effective. Now, with this master key of inspired action in hand, let us turn our attention to some of the most charged and desired areas of human experience. How do we apply these universal principles to the very specific and often very challenging energy of money and abundance? Of all the topics that charge the human energy field with resistance, fear, and desire, few are as potent as money. We have been taught to see it as a thing, a commodity, a scarce resource to be chased, hoarded, and worried over. We have built our lives around its pursuit, and our sense of worth around its accumulation. But to recalibrate your reality, you must first recalibrate your definition. Money is not paper. It is not metal. It is not a number on a screen. These are merely the physical symbols for what money truly is. Energy. It is the energy of value. It is the energy of freedom. It is the energy of choice. And like all energy, it does not respond to neediness or desperation. It responds only to vibrational alignment. To become a magnet for wealth, you must stop chasing the symbols and start becoming an energetic match for the abundance they represent. The first step in this recalibration is a courageous act of excavation. You must be willing to dig up and examine the toxic, limiting beliefs about money that were programmed into your subconscious mind long ago. These poverty programs run silently in the background of your life, creating a powerful resistance that sabotages your every effort. Take a moment and honestly complete these sentences in your mind. Money is. What was the first word that came up? Hard to get? The root of all evil. Stressful. Now try this one. Rich people are. Are they greedy? Unscrupulous? Unhappy? Lucky? Your answers reveal your hidden blueprint. Common poverty beliefs sound like this. You have to work slavishly hard for every penny. It's more spiritual to be poor. Wanting money is selfish. If I get rich, my friends and family will treat me differently or ask me for handouts. I'm just not good with money. As long as these programs are running, you are trying to drive a car with one foot pressed firmly on the accelerator of your desire and the other foot slammed down on the brake of your limiting beliefs. You will burn a lot of fuel, make a lot of noise, but ultimately, you will go nowhere. You must release the brake. The next great shift is to move your focus from getting money to giving value. Money, in a healthy energy system, is simply a natural consequence, an appreciative echo of the value you provide to others. The universe funnels its resources through those who serve. Instead of asking, "How can I make more money?" I begin to ask, from the core of your being, how can I serve more people? What unique gift? What passion? What skill do I have that can solve a problem or bring joy to others? When you operate from your zone of genius, from a place of authentic passion and a genuine desire to contribute, the energy you emit is magnetic. It is powerful, coherent, and attractive. You are no longer a desperate hunter chasing after money. You are a lighthouse, shining your unique light so brightly that the ships of opportunity, carrying the cargo of financial reward, I have no choice but to sail toward your shore. Money ceases to be the goal and becomes the happy, effortless byproduct of you living your purpose. This inner state of abundance must be cultivated before the evidence appears in your bank account. You must practice the feeling of being wealthy now. This begins with how you treat the money you currently have. Do you respect it? Or do you shove crumpled bills into your pocket? Start by appreciating every single dollar. When you hold a bill in your hand, feel genuine gratitude for it. See it not as just a dollar, but as a symbol of the infinite, flowing abundance of the universe. When you pay a bill, do not do so with a resentful, clenched energy of losing money. Shift your perspective. Feel gratitude for the service you received, for the electricity that powers your home, for the food that nourishes your body, Bless the money as it leaves, knowing that in a circulatory universe, all that is released with joy must return to you multiplied. When you make a purchase, do it from a place of abundance, not fear. This doesn't mean being reckless. It means that instead of agonizing over buying a cup of coffee, you buy it with the joyful feeling of, I live in an abundant universe, and of course I can enjoy this simple pleasure. You are training your nervous system, one small act at a time, to move from a fear-based scarcity frequency to a joy-based wealth frequency. The great success manuals of the past, like Napoleon Hill's classic audiobook Think and Grow Rich, can be seen through this energetic lens. Hill's famous burning desire is not just wanting something badly. It is the act of generating an intense, high-frequency emotional state that fuels your intention. His emphasis on faith is not blind hope, but the unwavering vibrational state of knowing your desire is already a fact in the unseen realm. His mastermind principle speaks to the exponential power created when two or more people align their energy fields toward a common, positive goal. For a more modern and direct approach, audiobooks like Jen Sincero's You Are a Badass at Making Money guide you to confront your financial fears head-on, giving you permission to be wealthy, and inspiring the bold, inspired action required to break through old patterns. Ultimately, we must expand our definition of abundance beyond the narrow confines of money. To focus only on money can still come from a place of lack, a belief that a certain number on a screen is the sole solution to your problems. True abundance is a holistic state of being. It is the feeling of sufficiency and richness in all areas of your life. It is an abundance of time, the feeling that you are not rushed and you have ample space to do what you love. It is an abundance of love, the practice of seeing connection and kindness everywhere. It is an abundance of health, feeling the vibrant, powerful energy of well-being coursing through your veins. It is an abundance of ideas and opportunities, seeing creative solutions instead of insurmountable problems. When you cultivate this global feeling of abundance, this deep inner knowing that you are fully and completely provided for in every way, money simply becomes one more stream flowing into the vast river of your well-being. The desperate, needy energy dissolves, because you realize you are already rich in all the ways that truly matter. This same principle, that our outer world is a mirror of our inner state of being, applies with equal, if not greater, power to the most intimate areas of our lives. The energy we hold around our own worthiness and love directly determines the quality of the relationships we attract and sustain. We now turn from the energy of the wallet to the energy of the heart. You have recalibrated your energy around abundance. You have learned to act from inspiration. And now we turn to the most intimate and revealing mirror of all, the mirror of your relationships. Of all the manifestations we desire, love is perhaps the most yearned for and the most misunderstood. We are taught to search for love, to hunt for our other half, as if we are an incomplete puzzle piece, seeking its match. The conscious creator understands a more profound truth. Your relationships are not a reflection of your luck or your charm. They are a flawless mirror of your relationship with yourself. The love you experience from the outside world can never exceed the love you hold for your own being. To attract deep, harmonious love, you must first become a sanctuary of love within. The foundational law of relational energy is this: you cannot receive a love that you do not subconsciously believe you are worthy of. If your deep, core programming, installed long ago, whispers that you are flawed, that you are difficult to love, that you are not enough, then the universe, in its impersonal, law-abiding way, must bring you experiences that validate that belief. You will find yourself attracting partners who are critical, distant, or unable to commit. Or, if a genuinely loving and available person does enter your life, you will find a way to sabotage the connection, because their deep respect for you is in direct conflict with your own lack of self-respect. The dissonance is too great. This is why the quest for love must always begin with the journey inward. It begins with the practice of radical self-love. This is not narcissism or vanity. It is the sacred act of treating yourself with the profound kindness, compassion, and unwavering respect that you desire from a partner. It is forgiving yourself for past mistakes. It is celebrating your own unique qualities. It is filling your own cup so completely that you enter a relationship, not as a beggar with an empty bowl, but as a fountain, overflowing with love to share. Neediness repels. Wholeness attracts. Here is a powerful and transformative practice. Take out a piece of paper and write down, in detail, every quality you desire in your ideal partner. Do you want someone who is impeccably honest? Someone who is emotionally stable and supportive? Someone who is passionate, ambitious, and has a great sense of humor? Someone who is kind to strangers? Be specific. Create a detailed portrait of this person. Now, take a deep breath and turn that list back on yourself with radical honesty. Ask, to what degree am I currently embodying these exact qualities? Do you desire unwavering loyalty, yet you are disloyal to your own dreams and promises? Do you crave a partner who is positive and uplifting, yet you spend your days complaining and gossiping? Do you want someone who is financially responsible, yet your own finances are in chaos? You must become the person you want to attract. The universe operates on the law of like attracts like. It cannot bring you a partner who is a vibrational match to your wish list. It can only bring you a partner who is a vibrational match to your current state of being. This shifts the entire game from a passive, frustrating search for the right person into an active, empowering path of becoming the right person. A crucial part of this process is healing the energetic wounds of the past. So many of us are walking through life broadcasting a signal of hurt from an old betrayal, a painful breakup, or a childhood abandonment. We may think the past is in the past, but if the emotional charge is still there, it exists as a scar in our energy field. This scar sends out a constant, low-frequency signal of mistrust, a fear of intimacy, or an expectation of being hurt again. As long as you are broadcasting the frequency of people will eventually leave me or love is unsafe. The law of attraction must bring you partners and situations that prove you right. To clear this static, you must undertake the courageous work of healing. This means feeling the old pain fully without judgment, so it can finally be released. It means practicing forgiveness, not to condone the other person's behavior, but to free your own energy from the prison of resentment. Forgiveness is a selfish act in the most positive sense. It is you canceling your own energetic debt and wiping your vibrational slate clean, so you can finally send out a pure, open, and trusting signal of love. We can even see this energetic principle at work in modern relationship psychology. In his famous audiobook, The 5 Love Languages, Dr. Gary Chapman identifies the primary ways people give and receive love. Words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. We can reframe these as 5 distinct frequencies of love. You may be broadcasting your love on the frequency of acts of service by working hard for your family. But if your partner's primary receiver is tuned to the frequency of quality time, your loving broadcast may not be fully received. Learning the love languages is like learning to become a multi-frequency broadcaster. It allows you to tune your loving expressions to the specific frequency that your partner, your child, or your friend can most clearly hear and understand, creating a powerful, harmonious resonance between you. This energetic law is universal, extending far beyond romantic partnerships. It governs every relationship in your life. Do you wish to have more supportive and loyal friends? You must first be a supportive and loyal friend. Do you wish for more respect from your colleagues? You must first carry yourself with an energy of self-respect and treat others with genuine respect. Your outer world is always and forever a mirror of your inner state. If you notice a recurring pattern in your relationships, that pattern is a gift. It is the universe holding up a sign, trying to show you something about your own energy. If you consistently feel taken for granted, the universe is asking you, where are you taking yourself for granted? If you consistently feel misunderstood, the universe is asking, where are you failing to understand and express your own true self? To change the reflection, you must change the source. The magnetic heart is not one that desperately pulls love toward itself out of a sense of lack. The magnetic heart is one that is so filled with its own light, its own love, its own wholeness, that it radiates that energy outward effortlessly. And in doing so, naturally attracts the people and experiences that resonate with its beautiful, coherent frequency. As you begin to live from this aligned and heart-centered space, you will notice the universe starting to communicate with you in a new and magical way. The rigid lines between the inner and outer worlds begin to blur. Coincidences will seem too perfect to be random. You will start seeing patterns, receiving signs, and feeling guided by an unseen hand. You are learning to read the secret language of the universe, the language of synchronicity, as you begin to truly live from this new, aligned state of being. A strange and wonderful thing starts to happen. The world around you seems to wake up. The rigid, predictably, and often mundane reality you once knew begins to soften at the edges, becoming more playful, more intelligent, more responsive. It is as if you have entered into a secret dialogue with the universe, a conversation held not with words, but with the magical language of events. This is the realm of synchronicity. It is the experience of being so perfectly in tune with the flow of life that the outer world begins to conspire in your favor, arranging itself in patterns of meaningful coincidence that defy all logic and probability. The term synchronicity was famously coined by the great Swiss psychologist Carl Jung to describe a phenomenon he could not ignore: the occurrence of two or more events that are not causally related, yet seem to be meaningfully connected. A simple coincidence is random, like seeing two cars of the same color at an intersection. A synchronicity is a coincidence that carries a charge of personal significance, a wink from the cosmos that speaks directly to your inner state. It is the universe bending time and space to give you tangible, physical feedback that your energetic and psychological work is being registered. It is the moment the mirror of reality reflects back to you, not just your general state, but a specific thought you were just having. This is where the game becomes truly magical. You have almost certainly experienced this. The most classic example is thinking of an old friend you haven't seen or heard from in a decade. And moments later, your phone rings and it is them. The logical mind scrambles for an explanation, dismissing it as a fluke. But the deeper part of you, your intuition, recognizes the magic. It feels the connection. Another common form of synchronicity in our modern world is the phenomenon of seeing repeating number sequences. You glance at the clock and it's 11:11. You get a receipt at a store for $22.22. You see a license plate with the number 444. While these numbers don't necessarily hold a fixed, universal meaning, you can think of them as the universe's way of tapping you on the shoulder. It's a gentle nudge, a digital hello, a quick signpost confirming that in that very moment, your thoughts were aligned, your energy was clear, and you were in the flow. They are invitations to pay attention. The universe can also speak to you through the words of others. Have you ever been wrestling with a specific personal problem? A question turning over and over in your mind, and you walk past two strangers on the street who are in the middle of a conversation, and you overhear a single sentence that contains the exact answer or insight you were looking for. That is not an accident. That is the universe using every available channel to deliver a message to your prepared mind. Or perhaps you experience a thematic echo where you keep encountering the same obscure word, idea, or symbol in a short span of time. You read it in a book in the morning, hear it in a song on the radio in the afternoon, and see it on a billboard in the evening. This is the universe using repetition to highlight a concept, urging you to explore its significance in your life. It is crucial, however, To understand the true purpose of these signs, the goal is not to become a superstitious fortune teller, trying to decode every single event as a message from the great beyond. This can lead to paranoia and confusion. The primary purpose of synchronicity is far more simple and beautiful. It is confirmation. It is the universe winking at you and saying, "Yes, I see you. I hear the new frequency you are broadcasting. Keep going. You are on the right path." These signs are the mile markers on your journey. They provide the encouragement to keep trusting the unseen forces at play. Especially when your big, ultimate manifestation has not yet arrived in its physical form. They are the universe's way of reassuring you that your order has been received and the cosmic kitchen is at work. The adventure novel, The Celestine Prophecy, by James Redfield, which became a cultural phenomenon and a popular audiobook, is built entirely around this principle. The story follows a protagonist who learns to consciously follow a trail of synchronicities, each one leading him to the next step on a profound spiritual adventure in Peru. The book beautifully illustrates the mechanics of this process. First, one must cultivate a state of alert expectation, trusting that a synchronicity is waiting to happen. Second, one must listen to the intuitive nudge that often accompanies the sign, the inner feeling that says go talk to that person or turn down that street. And third, one must have the faith to act on that nudge, knowing that following one synchronicity is what allows the next one to appear, creating a magical, flowing path through life. It reframes life not as a series of random events, but as a thrilling treasure hunt where the universe itself is leaving you the clues. This brings us to the most wonderful part of this phenomenon. It is an interactive feedback loop. When a synchronicity occurs and you dismiss it, when you tell yourself that was just a weird coincidence, the conversation with the universe stalls. You have, in essence, hung up the phone. But when you notice the synchronicity, and you take a moment to acknowledge it, even with just a quiet, internal smile or a whispered, "Thank you," you are engaging in the dialogue. You are sending a signal back to the universal intelligence that says, "Message received. I'm listening. More of this, please." This simple act of acknowledgement creates a powerful positive momentum. The more you notice and appreciate these winks from the cosmos, the more frequent and more astounding they become. Your reality begins to feel less like a rigid machine and more like a dance with a benevolent, intelligent partner. This beautiful, synchronous flow is the natural state of an aligned being. But sometimes, despite our best efforts, we fall out of this flow. We get stuck. The magic seems to fade, and we find ourselves caught in the grip of old, painful patterns. This often happens for one primary reason. Our energy is not in the here and now. We have projected ourselves into the regret of the past or the anxiety of the future, abandoning the only place where our true power exists, the present moment. In the grand architecture of your consciousness, there is a single point where all power resides. It is not in the regretful corridors of the past, nor is it in the anxious hallways of the future. It is here, in the simple, eternal, and endlessly elusive moment of now. The present moment is the only thing that is ever truly real. Your entire life unfolds as a series of now moments. And yet, it is the one place our minds are conditioned to avoid at all costs. Our minds are chronic time travelers, constantly hijacking our awareness and dragging it back to replay old grievances and glories, or hurtling it forward to pre-play 1,000 potential triumphs and disasters. This incessant mental activity is not harmless. It is the primary way we leak our creative power and sabotage our own well-being. To become a master of your energy, you must learn to cease your travels through the illusions of time and come home to the only point of power you will ever have, the present moment. Living in the psychological past is an active energetic drain. The past itself is gone. It exists only as a collection of memories, an energetic imprint in your mind. When you dwell in regret, guilt, or resentment, You are taking your precious, vital, present moment energy and pouring it into a ghost. You are using your creative power to continuously reanimate a painful event that no longer exists outside of your own mind. This keeps the wound fresh. It forces your body to relive the stress chemistry of the original event. And most importantly, it means you are broadcasting the low-frequency energy of that old pain right now, in the present, thus attracting more circumstances that will give you a reason to feel that same way. Likewise, living in the future is a state of anxiety. The future is a realm of pure, formless potential. When you worry, you are using your powerful creative faculty of imagination to build a detailed blueprint of what you do not want. You are projecting negative energy onto a future that has not yet been created, effectively praying for the arrival of your own fears. Both of these states, living in the past or the future, are illusions created by an untrained mind. They are hypnotic spells that rob you of the one thing that is real and potent: your presence. Right here, right now. The practice of returning to the now is the core of all mindfulness and meditation. It is a simple, though not always easy, skill. The mind's momentum is strong, but you have anchors that can bring you back. The most reliable and ever-present anchor is your breath. Your breath is never happening yesterday or tomorrow. It is always happening now. At any moment, you can bring your awareness to the simple, physical sensation of the air flowing into your nostrils, filling your lungs, and flowing back out. You don't need to change it or control it. Just feel it. In the moment, you are truly feeling your breath. You are not lost in thought. You are present. Another powerful anchor is the feeling of your inner body. Close your eyes and bring your attention inside your hands. Can you feel a subtle tingling? A faint vibration? A sense of aliveness? Do the same with your feet, your legs, your arms. This is the direct experience of your own energy field. By placing your attention there, you pull your awareness out of the noisy chatter of your head and into the silent, living stillness of your body. You are grounding yourself in the now. This is the great secret. All of your power is here. You cannot change your life tomorrow. You can only make a choice. Feel a feeling, or think a thought right now. The future you are so concerned with is nothing more than a projection, created by the quality of your energy in this present moment. If your now moments are filled with the energy of anxiety and lack, your future will be built from that material. If your now moments are filled with the energy of peace and gratitude, your future will crystallize around that vibration. Stop trying to control a future you cannot touch. Instead, take radical responsibility for the only thing you can ever control, the quality of your consciousness in this very moment. Your only job is to make this moment your friend. Your only goal is to infuse this now with the highest frequency of energy you can access, be it peace, appreciation, or joy. String enough of these high vibration now moments together, and a beautiful future becomes an inevitable consequence. No teacher in modern times has illuminated this truth more powerfully than Eckhart Tolle. His seminal audiobook, The Power of Now, is not just a book to be read, but an energetic transmission to be experienced. Tolle's core teaching is a call to awaken from the nightmare of psychological time. He makes a crucial distinction between your life situation, the collection of facts and circumstances of your life, and your life, which is the vibrant, conscious aliveness you can only feel in the present moment. He explains that all human suffering is created by the mind's resistance to our current life situation. While we are completely oblivious to the deeper dimension of our life, he identifies the ego, the phantom self, as the creator and sustainer of psychological time. The ego cannot exist in the now. It can only survive by feeding on the past through grievances and the future through anxiety. Therefore, to step into the now is to step beyond the ego. It is to find the formless awareness, the silent, watching presence that is your true, timeless identity. By learning to inhabit the now, You end the self-inflicted drama of the mind and find a peace that does not depend on your external conditions. Ultimately, the present moment is more than just a point in time. It is a portal out of time altogether. It is the gateway to the dimension of the unmanifested, the formless, the infinite energy field of pure potential that we have been speaking of. When your mind is still and your attention is fully anchored in the now, your sense of being a small, separate self begins to dissolve. Your personal energy field merges with the universal energy field. You are no longer just a wave. You become aware of yourself as the entire ocean. In these moments of pure presence, you have direct access to boundless intelligence, limitless creativity, and an unshakable peace that the mind can never comprehend. This connection is the source of all inspired ideas, all true healing, and all profound insight. It is the homecoming your soul has been yearning for, and the door is always open, always waiting. Right here, when you begin to make the present moment your primary home, your perception sharpens. You become exquisitely sensitive to the subtle currents of energy around you. This heightened awareness allows you to notice how the universe is not just a passive field, but an active participant in your life, constantly rearranging itself to mirror your inner state. You start to see how this inner energy not only affects you, but also contributes to a larger, collective field of consciousness. As you continue on this path, cultivating your inner world and mastering your personal energy, you might assume that this is a fundamentally solitary journey, a quest for self-improvement, for a better personal reality. But this is where the lens of our understanding must pull back, expanding from the individual to the universal. Your personal energy field is not an isolated island. It is a single, shimmering drop of water in the vast, interconnected ocean of collective human consciousness. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, and every belief you hold is not just creating your own reality. It is a contribution, a vote, a broadcast into the energetic atmosphere of the entire planet. Your inner work is not a selfish pursuit. It is a profound act of service to the world. The collective consciousness is the sum total of all consciousness on Earth. It is the energetic soup in which we all swim. It is composed of every hope, every fear, every prayer, every act of kindness, every judgment, and every loving thought of all the billions of souls who share this planet. This immense field of energy is what creates the overarching trends of history, the zeitgeist of an era, the invisible but palpable vibe of a city or a nation. When the collective consciousness is dominated by the low-frequency energies of fear, scarcity, and separation, it manifests in the physical world as war, poverty, conflict, and disease. When the collective consciousness is infused with the high-frequency energies of love, peace, and interconnectedness, it manifests as cooperation, innovation, and widespread well-being. You are not merely a passive recipient of this collective energy. You are an active and powerful transmitter, constantly shaping its quality with your own broadcast. Every single time you choose to forgive someone instead of holding a grievance, you are pouring a drop of healing nectar into that collective ocean. Every time you choose a thought of compassion over a thought of judgment, you are helping to soothe the anxious heart of humanity. Every time you genuinely feel gratitude for the beauty in your life, you are broadcasting a coherent frequency of peace that ripples out and touches everything. When you do the courageous work of healing your own trauma, you are not just liberating yourself. You are healing a wound for your entire ancestral lineage and breaking a chain of pain that might have been passed down for generations. You are becoming what is known as a pattern breaker. Your personal healing sends out waves of liberation into the collective field, making it easier for others to heal as well. You become a beacon, an energetic permission slip for others to find their own light. This may sound like a beautiful metaphor, but there is compelling scientific evidence to suggest that this non-local effect of consciousness is very real. In a series of carefully controlled experiments, Researchers studied what became known as the Maharishi effect. In these studies, a large group of people trained in transcendental meditation would gather and meditate together in high-crime areas. The results were staggering and repeatable. During the periods when the group was meditating, radiating a coherent and peaceful energy, the rates of violent crime, traffic accidents, and hospital emergency calls in the surrounding city would drop significantly, sometimes by as much as 25%. This occurred without the wider population having any knowledge that the experiment was taking place. This provides powerful evidence that a relatively small number of people, by achieving a state of inner peace, can have a profound and measurable calming effect on the chaotic energy of a much larger population. Our inner states are not contained within our skulls. They are powerful broadcasts that influence the world around us. The late Dr. David R. Hawkins, in his groundbreaking audiobook, Power versus Force, took this concept even further. Through decades of meticulous research using applied kinesiology, he created a logarithmic scale that calibrates the energetic frequency of different levels of human consciousness. At the very bottom are the dense fields of shame and guilt. Higher up are fear, anger, and pride. The critical turning point is the level of courage, where one begins to move from a destructive to a constructive energy, and at the high end are love, joy, peace, and finally, enlightenment. Because the scale is logarithmic, not linear, the power of the higher states is exponentially greater than the lower ones. Hawkins' research produced one of the most astonishing statistics in the study of consciousness. A single individual operating at the level of love, which calibrates at 500 BQS, counterbalances the negative energy of 750. 000 individuals operating below the level of 200, one individual at the level of enlightenment, at 700, counterbalances the negative energy of 70 million people. This is not about spiritual ego or being better than anyone else. It is the simple physics of energy. A coherent, high-frequency energy field is infinitely more powerful and influential than a chaotic, low-frequency one. This understanding completely reframes the purpose of your spiritual journey. In a world fraught with seemingly insurmountable problems, it is easy to feel powerless. We are often taught that to change the world, we must engage in a great struggle. We must fight against the darkness. We must protest and resist. While these actions can have their place, the most powerful form of activism is an inside job. You do not heal the world by adding more energy of conflict, anger, and us versus them to the collective field. The most meaningful and impactful act you can possibly perform for the healing of humanity is to take absolute responsibility for your own state of consciousness and do the work to raise it to the highest level possible. You do not fight darkness by wrestling with it. You eliminate darkness by turning on a light. Your own enlightened, coherent, and loving consciousness is the brightest light you can offer. It is your ultimate gift to the world. This realization that our inner work has a global impact brings a new sense of purpose to our practice. It is the final piece of the puzzle that elevates our journey from self-improvement to world service. And so, armed with this profound understanding, we arrive at the ultimate stage of creation. We must move beyond just doing the techniques and thinking the thoughts. We must now fully and completely become the person who lives this truth effortlessly. We must learn how to embody our future self. Right now, we have arrived at the final stage of our creative journey. It is the culmination of all our understanding, the integration of all our practice. We have explored the nature of energy. We have learned to direct our thoughts and emotions. We have cleared resistance, and we have befriended the deepest parts of our own minds. Now, we must take the final, ultimate step. We must move beyond doing and ascend into being. The goal is no longer to practice the techniques that will get you to your desire. The goal is to become the person who is already living that desire effortlessly. This is the art of embodiment. It is the process of so completely fusing with your future reality on an energetic level that it has no choice but to manifest around you. The practice of embodiment begins with a single, profound question that you must ask yourself every single day. How would the future version of me, the version of me who has already achieved everything I am currently desiring, be thinking, feeling, and acting right now? Don't just think about what that future self has. Focus on who that future self is. What is their dominant emotional state? Are they peaceful? Are they confident? Are they generous and open-hearted? How do they carry themselves? How do they speak? What are their daily habits? You must build a rich, detailed, energetic and emotional blueprint of this evolved version of yourself. This future self is no longer a distant dream. It becomes your immediate North Star, the guiding principle for your present moment choices. It is absolutely crucial to distinguish this practice from the common advice to fake it till you make it. Faking it comes from an energy of lack. It is a desperate, insecure performance, an attempt to fool the outside world while you secretly feel like an imposter. The vibration is one of anxiety and dissonance. Embodiment, on the other hand, is an act of profound faith and internal alignment. It could be better described as believe it until you become it. You are not pretending for others. You are consciously adopting the state of being of your fulfilled desire for yourself. You understand that the inner state of being is the cause, and the outer world is the effect. You are not faking a reality. You are generating one. It is an authentic, internal shift, not a fraudulent, external mask. You are acting as if not to deceive, but to create. Once you have a clear feeling sense of your future self, you begin to run all of your daily decisions through this new, powerful filter. When you wake up in the morning, you ask, what would the healthy, vibrant version of me choose for breakfast? The answer is likely not the sugary cereal that will cause an energy crash, but the nourishing food that will fuel a successful day. When you face a challenging conversation at work, you ask, how would the confident, respected version of me handle this? The answer is likely not with reactive anger or timid avoidance, but with calm, clear, compassionate strength. As you go through your day, are you constantly check in? Would the abundant version of me spend their evening worrying about bills? Or would they be reading a book to expand their mind, trusting that all is well? Would the loving and connected version of me scroll mindlessly through social media? Or would they call a friend or spend quality time with a loved one? This practice creates a powerful evolutionary pressure. Any habit, any relationship, any thought pattern that belongs to the old, you will start to feel intensely uncomfortable. It becomes dissonant with the new, higher frequency you are choosing to embody. The old self does not need to be fought. It simply begins to wither and fall away from lack of attention, making space for the new you to fully emerge. This is the beautiful synthesis of the teachings of modern and classic masters. It is the practical application of Neville Goddard's instruction to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, taken from a momentary practice into a full-time state of being. And it is the core of Dr. Joe Dispenza's work on breaking the habit of being yourself. You are consciously and deliberately breaking the addiction to the emotions of your past self and conditioning your mind and body to the emotions of your future self. Let's use our example of the person who desires to be a successful author. The old self, operating on hope, might write sporadically, complain about writer's block, and tell people they are an aspiring writer. The person practicing embodiment becomes the author. Now, they establish a non-negotiable writing schedule. Because a successful author is disciplined, they invest in themselves by taking a writing course. Because a successful author values their craft. When someone asks what they do, they say, with calm confidence, I'm a writer. They are not waiting for a publisher's check or a spot on a bestseller list to give them permission to claim their identity. They embody the identity first. And in doing so, they become a vibrational magnet for all the experiences, that are resonant with that identity. This is the final integration. This is the point where the separation between you and your desire dissolves completely. You are no longer trying to attract abundance, because you are now operating from an embodied state of an abundant mentality. You no longer need to do affirmations for love, because you are now the living, breathing embodiment of self-love and worthiness. The tools and techniques we have discussed on this journey become like the scaffolding on a completed building. They were essential for the construction. But a day comes when they can be taken down, because the structure itself is now solid, stable, and self-supporting. Your default state of being, your natural, unconscious energetic broadcast, becomes the very frequency of your fulfilled desire. Manifestation ceases to be an activity you perform. It becomes the natural byproduct of the person you have become. Your vibration and your reality are now one. This is the mountaintop. This is the ultimate goal of all our work, not to get things, but to become someone, to so fully integrate our chosen reality into our mind, body, and spirit that it becomes our natural state of being. Having journeyed through the fabric of energy, the theater of the mind, the labyrinth of the ego, and the mechanics of creation, it is now time to gather these precious threads together and weave them into a final, coherent tapestry of understanding. We have traveled far on this journey inward, a journey through the very fabric of reality itself. We began by dismantling the illusion of a solid, separate world, and came to understand ourselves not as bodies of matter, but as magnificent, vibrating fields of conscious energy. We stepped into the control room of the mind, discovering how our thoughts act as the blueprint and our emotions as the sacred fuel for creation. We learned the tools of the master creator, harnessing the power of focused visualization, the declarative magic of our words, and the ultimate, reality-altering frequency of gratitude. We bravely faced the gatekeepers within, illuminating the limiting beliefs and subconscious programs that held us captive. And we learned to smile with compassion at the antics of the ego. We learned the profound paradox of inspired action and the art of surrender, of letting go, of trusting the universal flow. And finally, we arrived at the ultimate destination, the understanding that our work is not to get, but to become, to so fully embody the energy of our future self that our reality has no choice but to transform before our very eyes. If there is one single truth to take with you from this entire exploration, let it be this: your reality is not something that happens to you. It is a flawless reflection of you. The universe is not a distant, huge mental deity. It is a vast and impartial mirror. It does not give you what you want. It mirrors back to you who you are being. This is the great secret, the profound shift in understanding that changes everything. Peace is not a place you can travel to. It is an inner state you must first cultivate. Abundance is not an amount of money to be acquired. It is an internal frequency of sufficiency you must first embody. And love is not something you find in another. It is the light within your own heart that you must first be willing to shine. You hold the keys. This knowledge is not meant to be a passive intellectual exercise. It is a call to awaken to your own divine power. You are the artist, and your energy is the paint with which you create the masterpiece of your life. You are the composer, and your frequency is the symphony you offer to the world. You are the architect of your reality. Do not simply listen to these truths. Live them. Breathe them. Become the living proof of their power. The journey does not end here. It truly begins. For with every thought you choose, with every emotion you cultivate, with every conscious breath you take in the eternal power of this present moment, you are sculpting your world. You are no longer a victim of circumstance. You are the conscious creator of your magnificent destiny.